Okay, so the idea here is Jordan is a long... If you missed the last one of these, which was, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, Jordan is a long-time Whitest Kids friend.
Yeah.
And fan.
And fam.
And fam, basically. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, he's... there's a few people that you could call the sixth Whitest Kid, but Jordan's one of them. I would say you probably fade him. And...
yeah,
there's a few. Johnson, Greg Johnson, you know. So
yeah, I've tried explaining this on the Reddit. Like, there's some, like, I know you well. I knew Sam really well because he was in all my school stuff. Mm-hmm. I've almost never spoken to Darren. Mm-hmm. I like Darren. We just never we were never alone in a room together talking ever. Yeah. Zach, I didn't start to bond with Zach until I was doing the tech shows, which were years after college. That was like 2007.
Yes.
And that's when I actually started to first talk to Zach, because we would pick the music together to play. And then we just nerded out about bands and music. And I was like, oh, I have like so much in common with it. Like, I didn't know him at all. And I always found him I actually want to finally tell the story. I told it on the Reddit, but I think it'd be better as a out loud story. Yeah. About the first Whitest Kids meetings that I went to, because Zach was very intimidating.
Sure. And, well, before you get into it, though, I'll give people the background here. Jordan actually was in the Whitest Kids for a short time before I even moved to New York. And
got the tattoo and everything.
Yeah, and then they kicked him out. No, that's not what happened. But and we don't have to. Well, I don't think you have any tattoos, do you?
No, I have a really gross birthmark. You want to see that?
No.
Okay, sorry. Edit that out.
No. Yeah, well, Nate normally edits these. He normally edits out all the good stuff, so no worries there.
Okay. That'll be the thumbnail of the video, is me.
I'm just still scanning through the Discord, but maybe it's in the other one. Anyways, so Jordan was in the group for a short time when it was a college group.
Extremely short.
And Jordan was in it for a little bit, and then he's decided, well, this isn't quite my thing. But Jordan is very funny. He just does it in different ways. Cartooning, music. Then you were in a sketch group for a little bit.
I have a mustache. Well, I was actually. Me and my friends formed right around the 2007 when I was like the tech guy. We formed a comedy troupe. Me and my close friends, and I quit that too. And which shows that once a quitter, always a quitter. That I quit for. I mean, you can probably relate to this, Timmy. One of the main reasons I quit that group is that we were fighting all the time, and I thought it was actually ruining the friendship. Well, you just got muted.
I muted myself. Oops.
Okay. So yeah, there was so much like tension, and we weren't being friends anymore. We were just being like co-writing partners and acting partners. And we were fighting constantly about, like, you were late to the meeting we had and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, I don't think this sketch should end this way. I think it should end this way. And, like, I mean, I value that I got a taste of what that is, because it's probably what you guys are like. But it really occurred to me that I'm like, I don't enjoy seeing my best friends anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, I also quit because I couldn't. I had a weird kind of writer's block. I'm not like the kind of person that can just write sketches. I'm good at adding to other people's sketches and being like, oh, here's a line. I've never been good at like,
that's what
here's
I'm good
a funny concept.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I was kind of like a dead weight. And I also hated acting in front of people. I thought it was like embarrassing. So I get
it. I totally get it.
I just felt so weird being on stage and not being myself. Like, that felt like a strange, like, out of body thing. So I just realized this is not me. But then I did music for them and would be just a supporter of. But then they did a show after I quit that was like one of the funniest comedy shows I've ever seen.
Really? What was the group called? I have
the video of it.
Cousin Eskimo?
It was called Cousin Eskimo.
Why do I remember that?
Inside joke from a movie we made. And the inside joke was that it was an offensive term, just so people know. It's not like we weren't being like ignorant of that fact, but it was just a different time where you could be ironic and people didn't care.
We were doing the same thing and saying some
yeah.
things. Well, that name I don't think has ever gotten
I was there
trouble,
for that
nor
meeting.
Will it. You were, and I wasn't even. That's amazing. But yeah, that's a name when we started coming back in 2020. People were like, "Are you sure?" It's like, yeah, it was never a compliment.
yeah, it's so obvious.
Like, white people are the bad guys, pretty much all the time. So
hey, I didn't do nothing.
We understand that. Yeah.
You know the Ben Folds song, "Rockin' the Suburbs"?
Yes.
I think of that lately because in the bridge, he's like,
"You're gonna burn that because I'm about to," what is it? You're gonna.
Well, he has white. That's the end of the song.
Okay.
That's the second bridge, I guess you could say, or the outro. But in the bridge, he has all this white guilt, and he says like, just because my your great daddy's
great granddad made someone's great granddad his slave.
And he's like, it wasn't my idea.
Yeah, it wasn't my idea.
That's kind of how I feel sometimes.
Right.
Like I didn't do it. I'm sorry.
But at the same time, we all kind of think we're all smart enough to acknowledge like our place in the fact that we still all benefit from shit that got laid down because of that. So, oops, it sucks. Anyways,
what do you do?
But yeah, well, what you do is you support the change of progress as much as you can. That's kind of what I do. Which is why I moved to South Dakota, which is a real hot spot politically.
See, we have talked about this before with you. I actually don't want to talk politics.
Right, but we have an opposite situation.
We have opposite because I'm surrounded by such progressive people that are even more. Like, I consider myself on the left and I vote Democrat, but I'm surrounded by people even more than me in it. And so I see the more kind of unhinged version of it.
Yes.
And you're got the other problem. Yeah, you don't. And it's the bubbles.
But
right?
I see the unhinged right wing, which is like,
which I almost never. I mean,
dude, weird. You would not believe how many "Let's Go Brandon" flags and bumper stickers I see. And it's like, I can't fucking believe these morons think that's even something resembling a good statement. Like, what? A doddering old man. Okay, a bunch of rednecks with no social antenna at all started swearing at a doddering old man at a sporting event. The doddering old man misheard it, so let's make that our rallying cry. And it's just proof that they don't have anything. Like, I can't even tell you what the right wings. What right-wingers want to do. I know a lot about what they don't want to do. And I know a lot about, I don't know what they're for. I have no idea. I know what they're against. I don't know what they're for, And so that's what it's like living out here. And the response to any even generally mild progressive statement, like, I think free healthcare would work because a lot of people are supporting, which is true. The go-to statement response to that around here would be, well, and then some bullshit answer. Well, I'd hate to pay for someone that's not the same color as me and likes different sports teams, So it's basically what they mean. But anyways.
Well, I also like so like my wife is an author and cartoonist, and like the books, the notes she gets from Scholastic, who is like the most progressive publisher, and they hire these like sensitivity readers to like make sure nothing is offensive in the books. And me and Kristen don't like that kind of thing because it's really oppressive. So like my view is like seeing this insane, like they told her you can't have her books are about like junior high school kids. They're like, they told her you can't use the word lame. Like a kid says, oh, that's lame. And they're like, you can't use that. It's offensive.
That's too far.
And I said, show them. Type in Twitter lame and see how many people, how many kids use it still. It's not, you'd have to be aware of like hundreds of years ago dialect to find it offensive.
It's crazy.
So, this is the kind of stuff I see all the time.
Yeah, and I saw people on Twitter once say it didn't get any traction because people immediately like drove them into the ground. But they were like, I don't think we should be saying dumb. It's like, that is fucking
she got that note too.
Dumb. Really?
She got that. Yeah, she got dumb and lame. They said no, and then other little jokes here and there.
Like,
that are really nothing.
I understand like the hard R. Let's step back on that. I understand step back on the hard F and things like that. But like dumb and lame are so widespread use and not really even suggesting what they think.
No one would think of it that way.
Right.
That's what's so crazy to me.
It'd be like, if I was saying like, man, I think my ex-girlfriend is so quadriplegic, she just can't say anything smart. It's like, that'd be fucked up. But that's not what we're saying. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to me. But, I think that stuff ties in because that is what attracted us to Whitest Kids in the first place. And, we always made fun of that kind of stuff. And people love now to be like, you guys would never be able to do this, that.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I think about 85-88% of our stuff would be completely fine if we did it again. Same with when people say that about Carlin or Bill Hicks, because, and it's like, it's always horse shit. It's like, no.
What's the point of view of it?
Well, yeah, because, people think that you can't be funny anymore because you can't just say racist shit out loud because people are more easily able to respond to you now and say, shut the fuck up, racist, right? Yeah. So that's why then they need to be victims. So instead of admitting I'm racist and got my comeuppance, they say like, oh, you can't joke about anything. It's like, well, that's bullshit. And, people like Bill Hicks and George Carlin, and I'm not putting us in the same league as those guys, but we were doing the same thing where we bring up any fucking topic, but we punch up. It always ends up being whoever's the source of the power structure is the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
With Whitest Kids, it's right there in the name. It was us. All the time.
Yeah.
And there's a few sketches where maybe it's not, and those would probably be the ones where, like, those probably wouldn't work anymore. But I think most of our stuff is fine, So.
Yeah, I mean, we might have some sort of different, like the punching down, punching up thing. Like, I kind of, my thing with comedy, I'm like, if it's funny, there are no rules.
Right.
Like, I've seen offensive stuff that is not very
nice,
does not have its heart on its, in the right place. But if it will make me, like, there's some fucked up, roasts or things I've seen where I'm like, that just fucking made me laugh. I'm sorry. And we've been at comedy shows with stand-up comedians who will say
awful
horrible things where there's not really punching.
There's not necessarily a lesson or punching up, but I'd say in a lot of that stuff.
Sometimes stuff, it's like involuntary. You just laugh because it's like, fuck.
But I think like Anthony Jeselnik, for example, says some really crazy, awful things.
Yeah.
But the joke is always kind of still bouncing back on him that it's fucked up he would say that. And so I think that works really well.
His stuff made sense to me when he said in an interview that he sees his stage persona as the devil. And I was like,
so perfect.
I totally get it now. Yeah. But there was stuff on his Comedy Central show that bothered me even, and I'm very hard to offend. Where he would just make fun of like people who died recently in the news, and I'm just like, I think my limit is like that. Like, I feel like that's where I start to just feel like I'll feel actually bad. But like for me, just like jokes are just
if it's funny, it's funny, and that is true. And I think when people say you can't joke about anything anymore, well, the shit they're talking about is not even fucking funny. It's like my town being right wing and stuff. You know who we get? We get like Rob Schneider. He came here recently. And Jim Brewer, who I don't know if you've seen Jim Brewer's recent material, but he hates.
I don't.
He hates that there is any COVID precautions at all. And his one joke, he's like, I think people that want to wear masks act like birds. And then he just starts like doing this really half-assed bird impression, being like, I gotta wear a mask. And I'm like, okay, first of all, this isn't funny, but also like, there's zero connection. Like, what are you fucking saying? What does that make? How does that make you a bird? Like, if you're gonna, like, you got to show us the connective tissue, buddy. Like, it's like, it's not just that he's like, oh, he's right wing, so he's not funny anymore. No, it's that he like forgot how to fucking write jokes.
Yeah, I personally don't mind if someone's politically. Like I said, if someone makes me laugh, then that's like, honestly, I'll still listen to YouTube things with like Patrice O'Neill on Opie and Anthony and like those old radio show. And it kills me, and it's really fucked up, mean stuff sometimes.
Yeah, but I just think if it works, it works, and I think a lot of times that mean stuff is still. You can still tell it comes from the right place for the most part, So it's that stuff that insidious agenda shit that's like so lame.
And I am talking about the Shark Party episode. Someone in the chat asked me. Exactly what I was referring to. I have a little Jim Brewer thing. He went on after my friend Dave's punk band at a show. It was
really
bizarre. Yeah, it was so weird.
Where was this?
This was in the middle of Long Island in this giant like warehouse type venue. It was like a huge, like weird cavernous place. And they did this someone organized a punk show where the headliner was Jim Brewer. And he went out to do it. And this was just bizarre because it's one thing to like you guys like have comedians open for you and all that. But like Dave and his punk band, my friend Dave, he is not in showbiz.
Right. Dead on a Friday was like a hobby for those guys.
Yeah, like Dead on a Friday. They have a new album out in a week
wow.
or so, and it's fantastic, by the way. But so like for that to be part of Dave's show was so surreal. But so Dave did this really, actually, it wasn't Dead on a Friday. It was his older band called
Oh,
the Invisibles.
okay.
But and that show was kind of a weird show for a few reasons because the band was breaking up and it was very awkward on stage. But
Oh.
then after they were done, Jim Brewer went up and there was like only a couple people there in the crowd. And he was just doing his, and I have nothing against Jim Brewer.
Right,
really.
yeah.
I was never a fan of on SNL or anything except for one or two like impressions, I guess. But yeah, it was just so strange. It was honestly like seeing a movie about like a failing comedian.
Yeah, like the punchline.
Like
or
the
something.
Scorsese like
Yes, King of Comedy. Yeah, yeah.
Like it was just so weird because he was performing for like a few people in this massive like giant warehouse, and he was really like cranking up the energy to try to compensate for that, which is fine, but it was just so strange. It was this weird. I never expected to see him at one of my friend's punk shows. It's a very insular circle.
Yeah.
The punk,
sure.
the Queens,
Of course.
the Queens
Yeah.
and Long Island punk scene is not one that celebrities flock to.
Maybe he just was like, well, the Ramones came from Queens, so maybe I'll have the future Ramones opening for me. So when Rob Schneider came here the last time, he's been here once or twice. We had Pauly Shore once, which I feel bad I didn't go out to see that because I bet he was probably actually funny. But Rob Schneider came and performed, and apparently the place that he performed in is an old department store, and I don't know if they've done the best sound work to control what would obviously sound, be an echoey place for comedy. Music, I guess, is fine, but so the next day, like, everybody was on Facebook complaining about the sound and how they couldn't hear him. And my response was, apparently, Rob Schneider did a show in my town last night, and the audio was bad and you couldn't hear him. And people complained. But I never thought he was funny. So, his right-wing thing is beside the point.
That era of SNL for me, I can never hate those people because I feel like very close.
It's tied
to
our childhood.
Yeah. So
and the people that were around were some of the funniest people who've ever walked the face of the earth. So Sandler and Phil Hartman and Will Ferrell and Jesus.
Yeah. Should I talk about those early Whitest Kids meetings? Do you want to get?
Yeah, dude. Let's get into that. Actually, let me. Yeah, and that's okay that we didn't because people. If I got right to the point, people would think I was sick. But so let me do some spieling first because this is the first weekday. Hello, Whoretown. That's what we call chat. This is.
I actually just saw that episode where that happened.
Wow.
I just got up to that. Yeah.
So the whole idea when we started doing Twitch a couple years ago was to fund our animated film Mars, and that is still happening. Mars is pretty much done. We are in the process of submitting it to festivals and stuff. But we still got to pay for some sound mixing and stuff like that. So we decided to let's make a push to raise some more money and finish it off once and for good. Slay this fucking dragon and get the movie done. So we're going to be streaming more. We're also going to be putting together an auction soon. And one reason I want to do these Whitest Kids history streams is because it'll probably help us figure out some good stuff to auction because we'll be remembering things, and things like that. And otherwise, just kind of bring it back to what we started out with this thing was, making it about Whitest Kids, making it about the movie, and streaming a lot so we can get it finished. So that's what we'll be doing. And if you click the link, I believe Nate fixed the PayPal link on our webpage. If you are on the Twitch page and scroll down, there's a PayPal donate link and another donate link. And I think both of them should come through to my Streamlabs page so I could read them. And we have gotten 2 donations already tonight. Live Eat Work donated $5, says, loving all the content, hope it keeps going. My friend really likes what you've got going on, patiently waiting to see Mars. Live Eat Work keeps hinting at somebody liking someone, but never says which person on screen they're referring to. So, might be you. And then Crunchy donated $10 and says, love you, Timmy, and then a lot of exclamation points. And then you're awesome. Wow. Thank you. You're awesome, too. So, you make the donations when you gift subs or subscribe or whatever. That helps us out, too. So, whatever you want to do. But we are going to wrap this fucker up. And then we will have more info on the auction soon. But I think we're going to start doing Self-Suck Saturday every weekend again, if we can. And Yeah, man. It's not just the Trailer Boys channel anymore, which is kind of what was happening.
Did you see me? Did you see me on the
Trailer Boys? I didn't see that episode.
Boys?
I want to watch it. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
I don't want to start a rivalry, but that was some of the most fun I've ever had.
Oh, dude.
I'm not kidding.
It's a good show.
It was a lot of feelings for me because me and Sam talking about movies that hasn't happened in like 20 years, you know, or
great.
whatever, like 15 years, you know. And I was like, it's people say this all the time. It's a cliche, but it was like no time passed. Like I was just like, it's funny because I missed the last like 15 years of his like movie opinions.
Right.
Because for people who don't know in the chat, Sam was in all my classes at school. We used to have lunch together.
Yeah, they're film school buddies.
Every week, and we would just talk about movies. We'd go to movies together. We'd talk about music and all this stuff. So just like, I was like, Sam, what do you think of all these things in the past few years? Like, what do you think about nothing shot on film anymore? You know, like I wanted to like pick his brain about these things that happened while we weren't really talking much. So it was like so fun. And then all the trailers and stuff was really fun too. It's a great show.
It is.
But I just had fun. I hope people enjoy it and watch it.
Yeah, no, and you know, it all ends up on our YouTube page, WKUK VODs, for people that don't know. If you're so Sam's movie opinions of the last 15 years are just I don't like them, right?
Well,
I always give them both shit for not liking anything, but I like everything at least a little bit.
Yeah, I go up and down with that, but I've definitely, as time keeps going, and I'm definitely more in the Sam thing of like just constantly disappointed, and you know, and
I don't know, is he really like that though? I think he likes stuff, right?
I've always considered Sam like a really positive person. Yeah. I don't know.
He is definitely a positive person. I'm just saying, when it comes to movie opinions, those two guys, maybe they're just trying to control me because I'm like, everything's fucking great because I just can very easily put myself into the shoes of the people making the movie. And I'm like, you know what? Hard Rock Zombies, they clearly only had about $2,500 and it fucking rules. That movie rules. I love that movie. Are we talking about the same one?
That movie feels 6 hours
Cassie!
long.
That one?
I mean, I watched the VHS of that 20 years ago with my friends, and it was a long night. It was a really long night.
Are you sure we're talking about the same movie, though? There's so many 80s...
The one with Hitler?
Yes! Okay. Yes. All right. I got that on a Blu-ray, because, you know, I'm a weird Blu-ray collector now, and I got that on a Blu-ray with weird as in weird movies, and I'm weird, but... I got that it came on a double set with a movie called Slaughterhouse Rock, which is not very good. I
don't know that one.
It takes place at Alcatraz, but Devo did the soundtrack, and Tony Basil plays a ghost in it, and there's a Tony Basil singing on a Devo song over the end credits. And you know me, I'm a Devo-tee, if you will, and fucking that's what they call themselves.
Oh, okay.
So I definitely am. And so but Hard Rock Zombies, I mean, that's the kind of shit. There's one you would love, and I know we're just tangenting the fuck out of everything right now, but it's okay. Mutant Hunt was another one I got. Vinegar Syndrome. New York Shot. You've seen it?
No, I'm just like Vinegar Syndrome. Like, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so it takes place in the future in New York. So there's like cyborg guys, but they don't have the money to make... Well, they don't even say that. They just say the future. Yeah. But the thing is, the reason I use the quotes is because like the people are dressed futuristically and as robots. They didn't have the money to make New York look futuristic. So it's just like guys in like silvery suits with weird sunglasses walking through like Williamsburg. You know what it's like?
That's great. I would watch that. I mean,
it's a great movie.
About Hard Rock Zombies, the Hitler twist is one of the best things I've ever seen in a movie.
Great twist.
It's me and it was and my friends. We were screaming. I mean, we were like, it's one of those moments in a movie where you all jump up and down and start screaming. Like, it was crazy.
It's a great twist. And I was alone when I was watching, but I was like, what?
I'll just say this for the chat. I've never seen a movie before where the twist is that one of the characters is secretly Hitler. That's a twist.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Imagine that twist in any of your favorite movies. Instantly better.
Yeah. Fight Club, he's like, because you and I are the same person, you might say we're the same person, you know, but...
Exactly. Name any movie. It's a good game. Hitler, your movie.
Luke, I am your father. And Hitler.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I see dead people.
And I'm Hitler.
And I'm Hitler. I see dead people and I'm Hitler. Oh my God. But Yeah, film class. Streaming. We went off that. Because, okay, so yes, because we're talking about streaming. So we are pushing more to fun stuff. We're going to be coming up with some fun ideas. We're gonna come up with a donation level where you can guest host Zucchini Boys with me from afar. You don't get to come to my house. Yeah.
No, someone in the chat wrote secretly Hitler, and I read that to the tune of Suddenly Seymour. Secretly Hitler.
Oh my God.
Is waiting for me. Or what is the lyrics?
Lobaka says I like the Ava Braun twist more. I don't remember from the same movie. Lobaka's like, I don't know who Lobaka really is or what their name is, but
maybe they're Hitler.
They know that, probably. No, but they are into the weird ass genre shit, man. They get it.
Really?
Yeah, because Lobaka and I follow each other on Letterboxd, and like whenever I review some bizarre shit, Lobaka's already seen it, and vice versa.
I think Lobaka follows me. I know that name. Yeah. I haven't watched a crazy culty movie in a while. Actually, I should bring that up to Kristen.
You should come hang out. We can. We'll watch Mutant Hunt. We'll watch Slaughterhouse Rock. What else? They got some other stuff. Billy the Kid versus Dracula is a great one from the '60s. Dude,
you want to hear it? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
One of the worst ones that I don't think anyone's ever seen is Blazing Stewardesses, and I don't remember if I ever showed you some of that.
Is it a pop movie?
It's like supposed to be like a sex comedy that you'd see on like Cinemax, but everyone in it is like, not to be offensive, they're a little too old. And it's like weird because it's like, you're just like, why would they cast these like old women to be like the sexy stewardesses in the old West town? And the Ritz brothers are in it. And I'm sure everyone in the chat is a fan of the Ritz brothers. They were a comedy vaudeville duo from like the 20s, and they're in this like 80s comedy, and they're elderly, and they're doing bits like the whole movie, and they're so old. And there's one part where one of them cracks an egg on one of the old man's faces, and it's like just a shot, like a close up of like egg dripping down this old man's face, and it disgusted us so much. We were so sick from it. And I wrote a review on the old IMDb website where you could like write reviews, and you could, maybe it's still out there, but I wrote all about the egg scene. But that was like a punishing one to get through, where I couldn't even recommend it, but it was bizarre. It was just like the casting was so weird, and every joke falls way flat.
I'm sure. Pepperoni Pizza Man says, I'm more a fan of their crackers.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a connection, honestly.
Ooh.
I don't even know.
There could be. You never know.
The Ritz brothers.
Maybe that's how they got into entertainment in the first place. Yeah. Did you know, have you ever watched much Marx Brothers stuff?
Yeah, I've seen Night at the Opera, and maybe Dave used to show me some. So Dave showed me like 2 of them.
Duck Soup is obviously great. My personal favorite is maybe Monkey Business. But anyways, what I didn't know is that, there's Chico and Groucho and Harpo are the funny guys. And then there's the fourth one, Zeppo.
The straight man.
Yeah, and so Zeppo, he only did the first 5 films, then bowed out. You know what's fucking crazy is, so they were pushed into show business by their mother, her dad was a vaudevillian. So their mother pushed them into show business. And they had a different fourth brother, forget the name, the nickname or the real name, but he went off to war, and so I think World War I, and so she made Zeppo like join the group, and as an adult he's like, Mom, I'm a successful realtor, and he was, and she's like, fuck it, you're doing these movies, and then he enjoyed the fame and the riches because they obviously became a big fucking deal, but eventually he's like. And so I was always like, why is he barely in most of the movies? He's barely in it. It's like, because he literally like didn't want to be there. His mom made him do it, like fucking Sunday school. He's like, when you go to church or whatever, and you just kind of go through the motions. Like that's what Zeppo was doing. Yeah, only as a successful Hollywood movie star.
Or like the Beach Boys or Jackson 5, or where the dad is like forcing them, or the Shags. You know the Shags.
I've heard of it. Sid is a Star says Gummo. That was the other Marx brother, which I'm sure that's what's his name got that name from. But so trying to go back to what we were doing. So so that's why we're raising money. But now the idea with talking to Jordan. And I'm going to turn this into a regular show, by the way. which my first idea was to call it White History, but that's probably horrible. I don't want that to get out there.
That's good.
That'd be funny. But Nate had a better idea because Trevor had a video and a song called Kitty History, as in kittens.
Yeah, it's one of my. I've shown that to a lot of people.
And I taught what this stream title says under us right now is Timmy Talk / Kiddie History KIDDY. So whitest kids and kitty, so kitty history.
Like little kid. That's a little. Okay.
But
that doesn't sound weird at all.
Well, I wanted to call it White History Hour, but I just don't know. It's one of those things where it's like we just talked about. It might catch on the wrong hooks. I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, Somniferous says better to be a pedo than a skinhead. Well, I think they're the same thing generally, but there's a lot of overlap.
I'll say this:
there's a lot of overlap on that Venn diagram.
A pedo can't help their attraction to. I mean, this is the weird thing about it.
It's a thing. Yeah,
it's like a sexual orientation that is probably a curse.
Right. It's horrible. It's like people that fuck horses. It's what they're into, but they shouldn't act on it.
A skinhead might be the product of their environment, but they certainly have ample opportunity to learn the error of their ways and change. But a pedophile, I guess it depends if you mean an active pedophile or a pedophile who represses these things and tries to be a good person or whatever. This is gonna get me in trouble.
I don't know. I just want to say both groups should be collected into a net and left on the moon. I think is the best way to address it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
what if the moon is awesome though? What if we're like, oh fuck?
That's amazing. I've never thought of that. That is so funny. We finally collect all these shitheads, put them up on the moon to get them out of our society. Yeah. And we find out oh man, cotton candy grows on trees there and is healthy for you.
You
and
saw that video.
The air feels like boobs in your hands all the time.
You saw that video of them jumping, right? Don't you want to do that?
Yeah, that's a good point. But there's nothing else there though. Maybe there's a Futurama park where they can fuck redneck moon robots.
That's where the Watcher lives, right? And the Inhumans. A lot of different Marvel.
Yeah.
They'll share the real estate.
What'd be really funny is, how sometimes people will draw or make some sort of painting with a bunch of pop culture mashup, and I normally hate it. But I think it'd be really funny to have a drawing of it's of the moon. And the normal, the bright side of the moon is not much, and the dark side of the moon is just crammed with pop culture characters. Yeah. Transformers, Inhumans, The Watcher. I'm sure there's DC characters, whatever, but just tons of shit. Just even the Pink Floyd prism. It's just all just shoved into the dark side. Right,
there's Amazon women on the moon. And
all that stuff.
Movies.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. That reminds me. In my kitchen, I have a framed. This cartoonist did all the Mystery Science Theater movie characters in one picture, kind of like that Simpsons one of all the Springfield people.
I think I've seen that where it's from the bad movies they're watching.
Yeah. So it's
Mitchell.
Mitchell. It's
Manos.
Hobgoblin is there, Manos is there, Torgo is there, all that stuff, and cool. It's great. That should do that with the moon people.
That's funny. That is a good idea. But so the idea on these is to kind of just get nostalgic about Whitest Kids. But I'm going to be bringing on guests who have better memories than we do because Whitest Kids, famously, we don't remember shit. And I used to be the person who remembered everything for the whole fucking group. And now, my brain has been shattered into a million pieces a few different times since then. So, and my ADHD has only gotten worse as I get older, and I'm just fucking all over the place. So I'm going to be bringing in people like you.
I wish I had a better memory.
But you collected all the stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, I have some cool stuff. You could kind of tease. I mean, we got some videos.
We got stuff. We got all sorts of stuff we're gonna look at.
Rare.
And Jordan, Jordan's on the Whitest Kid subreddit. Jordan appears there often and posts just random stuff he finds, like old set lists.
Desperate for approval. Yeah.
But he. Jordan was our tech guy for a while for live shows, so he has a lot of set lists and just remembers a lot of stuff. I'll also be bringing on some older... I've already touched base with a few people. I think I have about a month of shows planned.
That's so cool.
Our buddy Shandy, who has some fun pictures, which I'll probably show some tonight, will be a longtime fan of the Whitest Kids, who was a fan, maybe before we even were on television.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Molly,
yeah, Molly.
Right?
So she's been a fan
from
for
like MySpace
ever. Yeah. So
we were like MySpace friends.
Yeah, and so she's gotten to a point where she was just a fan of ours, and she doesn't even live near us. She's from the South somewhere, but she's like driven a lot to hang out with us before, it's like to come to shows, and is basically like a friend of ours now, and so that'll be fun. Some other close friends from the group, I need to reach out to Fatum, so we're going to be doing this. So the idea is just to talk about that stuff, and Jordan was in, like you said earlier, he was in the group before me, and you were at the inception of the name, which I don't know if we talked about that last time, so start there.
No, I think we should talk about, the name thing was the second week. I'll talk about the first week.
Okay.
And I did tell this story on the Reddit, but I think not everyone is at the Reddit all the time, right?
Right.
So I won't even say long story short. I'll say long story long. Why not? We've got time. Me and Sam were friends in SVA.
School of Visual Arts. They were film
visual
students.
arts. Yes.
I'll do the footnotes sometimes, but you go ahead.
I was like the only one even Sam wasn't really making funny movies. I was like the only one in my class doing like comedy short films as like my projects or little scripts or whatever. It was a very serious group of kids. I liked a lot of them, but whenever we'd show our like projects, I'd always be like, man, like, see, why is it so serious? So maybe because of that, or because of just being funny in person to Sam's like, oh, like you should come to this like sketch group club that me and someone started. And I think they had just started it a week or two earlier. I mean, everyone seemed like they knew each other, so it must have been maybe a couple. Oh wait, I can't hear you again.
Yeah, I'm muted for you. They met in the St. George.
Who?
Sam and Trevor and Zach.
Sam and Trevor.
That's probably why they knew each other.
Yeah, so I definitely wasn't at the very first Whitest Kids meeting because everyone but I mean everyone knew each other. Like,
I gotcha. So they'd already met.
Oliver and so it's like, so Sam, like, I feel like he naturally, and it's flattering too. He's like, oh, Jordan's funny. He should come to this thing too. And me and Sam, I don't even know if this overlaps, but like me and him wrote some funny sketches in class and stuff. I posted one to the Reddit. So yeah, I show up. And I guess I wasn't prepared for how shy I would feel being taken into a room with like 12 people who I don't know or whatever, or 10. I don't know. It was a lot of people.
Yeah.
I wasn't like prepared for that like feeling of that I am very used to, which is, I show up at a party or something and I'm suddenly have nothing to say. Like I'm just like a blank and I'm like very shy and I'm kind of just way too much in my own head. Like I can't have fun because I'm just like, it's kind of an overwhelming feeling. So so I didn't make like in that first meeting, I was mostly just kind of quiet and watching, and Zach and Trevor were standing and everyone else was sitting. Sam might have been standing too, but it was very much like Zach and Trevor were like in charge. And this was my first time like meeting Trevor and Zach, and it was. And they weren't like, I mean, they were nice, I think, but it wasn't like, hey, it was just kind of like, okay. We're starting the meeting now, And I just remember the main memory I have of this, and I think chat being quiet is a good sign, right? They're all listening. I think the main memory I have, which is like not a great memory, but it's honest. Zach said, okay, let's go around and just pitch off the top of your head a sketch idea, which is like a perfectly fair thing and fun exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said that, and I'm just like sweating I'm just so like, I have nothing. And it's not, and it's sort of like I was saying before, it's not quite how I feel like I can be funny one-on-one with someone and we're talking, but I'm not someone who's like, here's all my funny ideas. Take them all.
Yep.
I'm just not like that, really. Even when I would do short films, like it was agonizing to think of little 5-minute funny short films. Like I would just stare at a blank page for like days and days and days. So Zach's like, everyone pitch a sketch right now, and he went around and everyone had something, and some of them were quite solid. Like, oh, that's a good sketch. I don't remember Trevor's, but I remember thinking, fuck,
I'm sure.
Really funny.
Yeah.
I think Zach volunteered one too that I remember being like, that's a sketch. And a couple people had like okay sounding ones, and it got to me, and I did what you're not supposed to do, which I said I have nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, like, it's like an anxiety nightmare, right? And Zach yelled at me. Zach said, "Just say something," and that's my Zach impression. And he said, "Just say a word," and I go, "Fish," and he goes, "Now say another word," and I go, "Jacket," and then everyone goes, "Fish jacket." And it was actually like,
that works. Yeah.
Zach turned it around and he got something out of me, which is like credit to him. Like,
yeah.
And everyone laughed, and like that is funny. But even with that, I felt like very embarrassed and like kind of like what I said before, like a dead weight. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even think of just a little idea.
Sure.
Fish jacket. It never went anywhere, as everyone probably knows.
Yeah, that's not one of the ones we remember.
Though it is the name of my first album. No, I'm just kidding. It's the name of my ska band.
Well, that'd be great.
So that's like my main memory of the first meeting, which is that I was like, fuck, everyone here has in some way their brains are wired for sketch comedy, even though like I thought I was that because I grew up obsessed with, in high school, I was obsessed with Mr. Show. I was obsessed with the Ben Stiller Show, is a big favorite of mine. Kids in the Hall was my obsession since childhood, and it still is. So like, I'm very much like thought I would be a sketch comedy guy, and it just like didn't really turn out that way. That was the first meeting. And then the second meeting.
Hold on, we gotta talk about the first meeting.
First
of all, what you said.
I remember more.
That's okay. What you said about liking sketch, but feeling like you couldn't actually do it. I feel like eventually I'm going to have to come to that realization about my love of kung fu movies. It's like, I just don't think I can be an expert in multiple forms of kung fu since the age of 4, since I'm 42 and fat. But also, so what you're describing about the anxiety of pitching ideas, I don't want you to feel bad about leaving the group, because someone entered the group who had that problem every fucking time for still.
They replaced me.
Oh my God, dude, I'm terrible, just terrible. And but I think the difference is I didn't feel embarrassed. I just felt kind of frustrated. And when they would help me, like what Zach did with you, help kind of pull out some ideas, I felt relieved. Like, I know they're fucking in here. I can't get to them. And part of the reason was, and that's another sign I ignored, that I had really bad anxiety and ADHD, that I couldn't focus. And that's what it was. And so they did that. And when you talk about Zach kind of helping you, like, hey, get your ideas out. That's why I always, he's a good director, man. Like, well, he was annoyed, but like he still made it work.
In my mind, I was letting Sam down because Sam brought me there, right? And he recommended me.
Sure.
And in my mind, I'm like, fuck, I'm making Sam look like bad because he brought in someone
like he doesn't know what's good,
who isn't funny.
Yeah.
So I felt like kind of double bad, right? And yeah, it was a weird experience, and it's like a lot of it is social anxiety, because if you put me in a room with 10 people I've never met, I'm not gonna be like the class clown,
right?
Yeah. It's like I'm a real one-on-one. I was talking about this last time we talked, but like I was so good at like OkCupid dating, because I'm good one-on-one. Like I could get together with someone and be like pretty talkative and funny, but if you like add 5 or 6 people to this thing, I'll just sit there quietly,
right? Which was an idea I had for the show, by the way, that I told you about it earlier. That'd be funny, is if you treat this like the old hide and seek game Sardines. The Sardines was one person hides, and everybody goes to look for them. You find the person, you stay with them. Until now, there's only one person looking for a whole group of people. And my idea for this history show is to have Jordan, and then next week have like Fatum or somebody, but Jordan's still here. And then the week after, it's like both of you. And the week after that, it's 3 people. That'd be funny. It would never work, but it'd be great.
Well, if you brought Fatum and me on, all I'd want to do is asking about being on Twin Peaks. So
yeah,
it might not be a good idea.
Well, here's the great thing about Fatum. Another aside from an aside, he's a huge Twin Peaks fan. So when I talked to him about being on it, he was like, "Yeah, it's so great." Like he was fucking into it. I'm sure he still would talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I watched that season like 4 times. So
yeah, dude, I just watched it again. Stuff. Well, you know that I watched it because I was telling you about it, because you and I are broken in the same way. In a lot
I
of
was
ways.
Literally like, should me and Timmy just do a Twin Peaks rewatch show.
I mean, we could do an episode where we talk about that, and I feel like we have enough fans that they'd be like, "Fuck yeah!" But you know, we can do whatever we want. But I have one other note about your first meeting story.
Yeah,
so
please.
you know, but but so Zach was always good at that, and that's why I think he's a great director too, is because he just had a way. No, not even that. Like, and even if it does seem like it's tough on you, it's like it's in a way that's working, and I never felt like he was actually pissed. And I feel like with that, you know, there's been hundreds of times where he helped me act better or be funnier because he just had a really good way of explaining it. And Trevor was decent at directing too, but he was just very specific about what he wanted, and he would do takes until he got it. And so normally that was fine. Sometimes it was like, dude, we're gonna run out of numbers on the slate, so you need to stop.
Wow.
Not really, but you know, there's sometimes. Whereas Zach's just very good at like getting it in 2 or 3 takes because he was like, here's what I want, and I had a way of understanding it, you know. So in other words, I'm really pissed that he picked Pedro Pascal over me because I thought we worked well together. So for his next film or whatever. But
I actually heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but week 2, and so that's when the name happened.
So the name happens, but building up to week 2, I'm like now even more anxious about showing up because in my mind, I'm like, now I'm going to do it well. Like I'm going to show up and I'm going to like be funny. But I was also like psyching myself out so much that it was the opposite. And so I show up and also I was really struggling like with like, is this really what I'm doing? Am I in a comedy troupe? You know, it was kind of like a big life change in a way.
Yeah.
And I took it seriously. So I was like, is this what I'm doing now in college? And I always felt kind of busy and overwhelmed by all the school projects and stuff. So I was kind of like stressed out. And so Sam takes me to the second one and they've got the chalkboard and they have all the different names for the troupe on the chalkboard, including Whitest Kids You Know. I wish I remembered the other names. But
Dead Babies was one.
I
know that was.
I could kind of picture that.
And I remember what the logo was going to be. They told me about it. It's a little D right next to a little B, so it looked like a dick and balls. Stupid.
Wow.
It's almost like we were 20. They were 21 when they came up with that. But because they were. But so you weren't there when they came up with the idea for the name, but you were there when they chose that as the name. Okay.
They already had a chalkboard with a bunch of names on it. So I don't know like when that happened. But we all voted, and I said I don't like the name Whitest Kids You Know. I just didn't think it was funny. Mm-hmm. I said straight out, I was just like, I don't like that name. So I was like outvoted for that, basically.
Years later, when we were about to be on TV, we had a brief discussion like, should we change it? No, let's just go with it.
Yeah. It's sort of like any name. Like it just kind of, it doesn't mean anything after a while. It's like it's like might as well be nonsense words.
Yeah.
You know?
So in other words, it's fine because it really all that is like you just want something so people remember who you are, and that's really all it is. You know.
It is a good. Well, that's a smart thing about the name is it's memorable. And so, but the other thing that happened in the second meeting, which I also talked about on the Reddit, but this convinced me to quit the troupe, which is that. So Oliver. Who was like in the troupe, really nice guy. Yeah. He was really nice to me.
Great dude. Yeah.
He wrote a sketch for me to star in.
Oh God, I can just imagine you finding that out. Oh God.
So, and it was flattering, but it was also very observant of him because the sketch was about like a nervous, shy guy. So he like kind of observed. I don't really know much about him, but he must have some sort of good observational.
Do you know what you know what field he went into after he stopped being in the Whitest Kids? He went to study like crime scene investigation. Oh, so he's cool. Basically like Sherlock Holmes, Fox Mulder, and so he was doing. Yeah, it was like and I thought that about him too. He was a quiet guy, so very funny. Observant. You know. So. Yeah.
So he wrote a sketch about like kind of this like fidgety, nervous guy. And he's like, I remember this so vividly. He's just like, I kind of see Jordan being this guy. And I was just like, oh, and we're like reading it. And I just felt so uncomfortable reading lines. Like, I just felt like, I don't know. It's like telling someone to like, you know, take their clothes off and go in the elevator in your building. Or like, I was just like, so, I don't know. I just felt so weird. I can't even describe it. It just felt weird. So after that meeting, I was like, I just couldn't visualize myself on a stage doing this, like I really couldn't see it.
I get it.
And the stuff that I want to do, I could see, like when I became a songwriter, I'm like, I see myself performing in front of people. I see myself like, like I saw it, but I didn't see myself like doing these. One, I was terrified of memorizing dialogue. Like that still freaks me out to this day.
Yeah, but now you know us well. You know that no one fucking did that. Well, like me and
I don't know.
Well, some of us did. One of us didn't.
Yeah.
And he paid the ultimate price.
Sam Hamich asked, is Oliver the one who talks about crack babies? Wasn't that no, right? That
no, and someone else asked, is Oliver the rockabilly member? I don't even know how they would know that, but yes.
Yeah.
How did you guys even know about that? Did you mention that or somewhere? Or are there pictures somewhere?
There must be a picture somewhere.
Because he got me into Chuck Berry.
St. Peter sketch. Yeah. Really.
Oh, he's okay.
He is in the St. Peter sketch, but I don't think
that's right.
But anyway, I could be wrong. I haven't watched that in a very long time.
I think he is.
But yeah, so like he wrote a sketch for me, and it was really flattering and nice to be like, he's like, oh, here's this guy who doesn't contribute to anything. I'm gonna like make him the star of this sketch. Maybe he was doing that. Oh, that'll help him.
Maybe what he needed is a push is to have the most pressure I can think of right now.
Well, see, I could see from his point of view, it's like breaking the ice, which is I need a lot. Like it's breaking the ice. Oh, Jordan, come up here, do this thing. But it had the effect of making me realize this is not me. And I just told Sam at some point, might have been that day, I was just like, Sam, yeah, I can't do that. I'm not funny. I'm sorry. But thankfully, me and Sam still made a bunch of funny movies together in school, which are on YouTube. And but I did feel like you do feel a little left out, like, because then Whitest Kids started having shows and stuff. And
right. Well, the thing about how the other people that stayed in the group, a bunch of people stayed, because the group when I joined was like 12 fucking people, and then we got to the point.
They would have fired me probably. And
I don't know.
It might have been a strain in me and Sam's friendship.
Possibly. Because, eventually it was like, we want this to... I remember, okay, so I didn't go to their school. The Whitest Kids, was a school group through their college, but they made it somehow so I could show up even though I went to a different college. Because they met me, I lived in the same dorm building as them, because the dorms were for people from any school, because in New York, not every school had their own housing. So I met them that way, they liked me, they wanted me to join the group, so I did. And so I would, it was always a hassle getting into meetings because the meetings were at the school, and I would have to, every time sweet talk the security guard. It's like, dude, you know me. I'm not stealing shit. I'm not starting fires. I'm just here. And so, and then eventually Darren, they met him. And then I remember we were shooting some stuff, some of those filmed sketches we did for Trevor's senior project that someone made it into the show, like the Hitler rap and St. Peter and stuff. Anyway, so we're shooting that stuff, and it was just the four of us, me, Trevor, Zach, and Sam, shooting something late at night. We had to do some pickup shots or something for something. So we're at SVA late at night. They sit down with me, and they're like, so, when you joined the group, we talked about how we always wanted this to be like our job. And I was like, yeah. They said, well, we're making some decisions. I was like, fuck. Well, I really like doing it, but it's okay. It's okay. They're like, no. You're like the only one we're going to keep. I'm like, oh, okay. And there you go. Isn't that crazy? I haven't thought about that story in years, but that is what happened. And me, like you, I just assumed that I'm unloved. That's how we are. So I'm like, oh, no, I understand. I'm going to fucking Charlie Brown at home, but no.
Well, I didn't give them a reason to want me in.
Well, because you didn't. But you didn't even.
I didn't do anything.
But and the thing is so I bet that was fine with everybody, and I can't imagine. Yeah, let me guess how Sam reacted when you told him you didn't want to be in the group. He's probably like, "Oh, okay, man." Because he's just
he's so chill.
I remember one time, you talk about social anxiety. This is years later. We were out at bars in Brooklyn or something, and we were going to hang out. And I was like, I just don't feel like hanging out. I just want to go home. And I feel like I'm wrong for wanting to go home instead of hanging out. And I feel like I'm a bad person for not wanting to see people. And Sam was like, no, dude, sometimes you just want to go home. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he got it. And that's another, I feel like I'm always saying the same things, but that is another missed red flag about my mental illnesses and stuff too. Is like, I just couldn't accept that it's okay to fucking just want to be alone,
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I think now I'm a lot better at being funny and stuff with if that happened now, I don't know, maybe it'll be the same thing. Cause it's weird, but I think about it a lot where it's like, if I had stayed in, would they have? I've just been one of those people that were like cut out of the group. I think I was gonna.
Would you be the Zeppo?
Yeah, like Sam and Trevor and Zach, like they had really strong idea of where the chemistry was with the five of you.
Yeah.
And
well, those
really
two guys had showbiz
that.
experience too.
Yeah.
You know, Zach had been on some shows and stuff as an actor. Trevor already had a fucking sketch show. Even though it was like a public access thing, he's still, you know, he was, I mean, there's no way, it's never fair to compare yourself comedically to Trevor. He had some fucking brain worm that no one else on this planet has had that just made him funny, you know.
That's part of the story, too, that I mentioned on the Reddit, which is that after the first meeting, me, Sam, and Trevor took the subway back to the dorm. Like, I was just going to hang out. And I used to just, like, tag along a lot.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm like, oh, I like wasn't funny. Maybe if I hang out more, I'll relax around Trevor.
Well, and you lived a long ways away, deep into Queens, so you'd be like, I'll just hang out here for a while. And I loved it when you were around. You know, it was good.
But so I remember we were on the subway, and Trevor was just pitching sketch idea after sketch idea nonstop, and I was like, holy shit, he's like still going,
dude.
And the thing is, they were really funny. Yeah, I remember I was sitting across from him. It was an empty train. We were going into Brooklyn. I was just sitting across from him, like freaking out, just like, how is he thinking of all these? He was like, oh, what if this happens? And then it's kind of like the movie pitching sketch where he was going like,
yeah, that's why that sketch works. Blah, blah.
And I was just like, holy shit, like how is he thinking of this stuff? I'll say this though, to give myself props. 1 month years ago, I did the 30 days of sketch writing. Like wasn't a contest. It was like a comedy writers
challenge, like a personal challenge.
Yeah, challenge. Comedy writers were all doing like a sketch a day, and I did a blog and I wrote a sketch every day, and I still I think they're really fucking funny.
That's great, man. You know,
I need a deadline. I need like an assignment. Like if Trevor had said like, or Zach at that meeting,
bring a sketch in tomorrow.
Yeah, Jordan, you have to do this. You know, I would have done it, but just being like, think of an idea. Like I don't know.
No, I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. I work really well under pressure when I know it's coming. You know, my current job, when I have to come up with short, funny things in a short amount of time, well, no one's making me make them funny, but they need to be done. It needs to be happened 5 minutes ago. It works great. And, the Trevor thing where you said, like, he was pitching sketches a lot. You know, then I lived with him. And you'd be, like, drinking, and it'd be, like, 5 in the morning. He's still like, what about this? It's like, dude, all I can think about right now is, like, maybe I should be in bed and boobs are cool. Those are the only thoughts I have in my head right now. I'm 23. Yeah. What the fuck's the matter with you?
Yeah.
And then somebody in chat just said, so Trevor seems like he was always on. Well, that's not it, though, because we had comedy friends that are always on. And comedy friends that are always on, like, you just get this general feeling like you're supposed to be applauding them all the time. Like, they're always it's like they're always performing. Trevor wasn't always performing, but his comedy brain was always on. Like, meaning he was always coming up with ideas, but he was also the chill, laid-back motherfucker too. Like, he wasn't ever performing, you know. Sometimes on stage he didn't perform; he was just being Trevor. You know what I mean? So I don't mean that as an insult, but like a lot of us did that. We played ourselves pretty often, you know. So, but yeah, he was. He had this amazing popcorn mind, and you know, it's obviously I miss my friend and brother the most, but I mean. The fact that talent is gone is really fucking too bad.
I still can't accept that in a weird way. I was just like, damn, like he thought of so many great things. I was like, I can't believe that's just that door is closed of that creativity.
As far as we know, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Unless there's an alien, I don't believe in heaven, but maybe you go to a different dimension. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
But Spoontree, hold on, Spoontree, who's a man in Britain who it's like, I don't know what fucking time it is there right now, but Spoontree says Zeppo Marx invented a watch that monitored a cardiac patient's heart rate and the clamp that held the A-bomb on the Hiroshima Nagasaki raids. Holy shit! Wow. Wait, is Zeppo in Oppenheimer?
It's the funniest part of the movie.
Zeppo comes in. And he helps design the clamp for the A-bomb, and he's got this brother who doesn't talk, keeps putting his leg on people. It's hilarious.
Did you see Oppenheimer?
I did not. I saw Barbie twice. I think that steadily tells people who I am.
I guess it does.
Don't really want to see Oppenheimer. Barbie.
Oh, you should see it.
I think I'll see it eventually. I don't dig the 3-hour movie trend right now is like, and some of them are good. I love John Wick 4. I love Spider-Verse 2.
I did too.
God, they're long as fuck.
Oppenheimer. I had the same
Oppenheimer style. Sorry.
I had the same problem with it that I have with all of Christopher Nolan's movies, which is, to me, they feel over, and then there's like another half hour.
Yeah.
And like every one of his, even Dark Knight, which I liked,
yeah,
I still remember being like, why is it still,
there's the part
like
that,
20 more
like,
minutes.
Why is it not over now? Yep. There's a clear ending, and it's like, why isn't that?
Yes. There? And all of his movies, it must be something in his brain. Like all of his movies have this, and my brain, like there's an incompatibility. Mm-hmm. So all of his movies have it. But as someone who doesn't really like Christopher Nolan's work, I really liked Oppenheimer. I thought it was really interesting. And you're basically watching a bunch of like awesome actors do like great performances for like 3 hours.
See, that's appealing. Like, for
and
sure.
It's also like, honestly, to be lame, like I learned a lot. I didn't know anything about.
I'm sure I would too.
That story.
That's a good.
Now, like me and my wife, Kristen, like left the theater being like interested in like finding out more about these people, and it was just like,
oh shit, I just fucked up something. Hold on. No, we're still on.
Oh, okay.
We're still on, but I screwed up. In fact,
I dropped a bomb on.
No, I dropped a bomb on chat, baby. Actually, this is how it should have looked the whole time. So let me. Oh God, what did I do?
Someone said my wife. I know I said it that way subtly.
They can still see you, but they can't see me as well. So personally, I would be fine with that. But I guess they want to see us. So okay, hold on, please hold. I just had I had it sized wrong to begin with, and now it's sized maybe better, maybe worse. It's almost better. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Is that okay, everybody? I feel like that's okay. Anyways.
Could I say this? Someone in the chat asked for what my YouTube is with the movies me and Sam and Trevor made. I tried to post a link and it didn't let me. Because I guess links aren't allowed.
Yeah, because people go crazy with this shit if you let them.
Let me try to say, so my YouTube is Jordan Cooper Stuff, I call it. But the URL is like youtube.com/@Jordan Cooper which is my stupid email address. So it's like LALA/videos or whatever. It goes to the videos. But hopefully that'll work. I don't know.
That's like a fucking Da Vinci Code.
I just watched all 3 of those movies.
Oh my God! Why? First of all, did you have Did you have a good time?
I have, like, sometimes I can be a movie snob, but I genuinely was just like, this is fun. Fuck it. I like this. I like the first one. The second one was basically like the same movie, and I like that. Third one, pretty disappointing. So, yeah.
Sequels should be the same but bigger, and sometimes there's some sequels that really get that well. There's some that don't,
The second one I liked it a lot. The third one, though, doesn't have like the puzzle solving and the symbols and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, isn't that the point of the movie?
That's the point of the books even. I mean, I read one of the books, but that's, as far as I know, that's
what they are?
I
watched them at home, but they're good. They're perfect, like plane movie, like airplane movies.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where I'm just like, I just want to watch like a little adventure that isn't too pretentious, and it's kind of like meat and potatoes.
Sure.
It was like that.
You know what I said that about once that I still hold to it? Justice League. Great airplane movie.
Which one?
The Zack Snyder bullshit? No, I just mean the regular one that came out.
Yeah.
Good airplane movie. It's like, it's not worth paying a lot of attention to, but every once in a while, like, oh, there's Batman punching a guy.
I actually think it's fascinating to watch a movie that was finished by a different creative voice and added scenes and re-edited and scored differently and color corrected differently. And it's like kind of a fascinating experiment. I mean, it doesn't make a cohesive
doesn't mean it's good,
movie,
but yeah.
But I would like, as a film dork guy, I mean, this is also why I like Twin Peaks, because you're seeing this bizarre collaboration between David Lynch and a writer's room, and it's like such a mess.
And David Lynch and like a cop show guy. Yeah. It's great, And
I know everything about that collaboration. I just read multiple books about that collaboration.
I get sick of how the Twin Peaks Reddit, there's so many people that post things that like pretend Mark Frost doesn't fucking exist. Or the writer's room.
It is weird.
Because there are brilliant things that are part of some of our favorite things about Twin Peaks, at least the first 2 seasons, that were written by guys we don't even know the names.
Every day, give yourself a present. That was one of the I think Harley Payton wrote
Yes, I talked about that. And I live by that creed. That's a great actual rule. No, it is. I mean, it's a great real life advice, especially for people who beat themselves up like you and I. It's good to think about that,
Oh God, what was I saying before though? I don't remember.
That's okay. For those just joining us,
Justice League, yeah.
This is our friend Jordan, longtime friend of the Whitest Kids,
Hey.
and we're nostalgizing about. That's not a word, but we're remembering things. I called you in the chat.
Ruining.
Nah, in the chat, bursting the bubble. No, in the description on the stream, I call you Stuff Rememberer.
I think it's a bit of a. I don't really
a stretch.
I've got a few stories, and maybe some stuff will come back to me, but I wish that I remembered more. But
you also have stuff, and I think we'll try and make a video work here in a second, and maybe we can look at some pictures.
I could pee during it.
Yeah, and we'll look at some pictures.
I got some fun stuff. I got really random stuff too.
And we were talking about sequels real quick. I did see a sequel I've been meaning to see for many years, and my daughter's like, I want to watch a comedy. Like a week or two ago, I was like, can we watch this? I think it's pretty much a comedy, but I haven't seen it. She's like, okay. Gremlins 2: The New Batch. What a great movie.
You know, I have a poster.
Fucking loved it.
On my wall, right?
Oh, do you?
I have if that tells you my opinion.
Right.
In the living room, there's a poster.
Is there?
A little one.
Fantastic movie. That movie.
It's one of my favorite movies.
It's great.
I saw it before the first one when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
So I didn't even have a frame of reference. I just, I did get it though. I understood. I remember very much like understanding that this was like some sort of like continuation of something in a weird way.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I mean,
went to a screening of it a few years back.
Really? It had to be fun. The fourth wall stuff in the middle with Hulk Hogan, that had to be really fun.
Well, I was talking about that.
Put back on Gremlins 2.
When I was a kid and I saw that in the theater for the first time, I was looking up at the projection to see the gremlins that were doing.
Oh,
but the thing is, I didn't think there were gremlins. I wasn't that stupid a kid, but I thought there was some sort of effect.
Yeah, like they had puppets up there.
Yeah, I thought they were doing something in our theater, especially in front of the projection booth.
Sam Hamich 808 says, that is Leonard Maltin's only feature film appearance. Fuck yeah, Leonard. I've always liked that guy. Now I know why. He had a show with Baron Vaughn for a little while.
Really?
Leonard Maltin and Baron Vaughn had a podcast or video, an internet show of some kind.
Did you watch the Conan podcast where they read the Hans and Franz movie script?
No. Oh my God.
There's a hysterical part in that script with Roger Ebert where he was supposed to, they go, Hans and Franz go to Roger Ebert halfway through the movie, ask him if he's liking the movie. Like, you like, it's good, right? And then Roger Ebert looks at the camera and goes, it is good. That's funny.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. And I'm sure Ebert loved that. I'm sure he would. Well, if he knew about it, I'm sure he would have done it. He had a good sense of humor.
Yeah, he would have done it.
I sat near him at an award show shortly before he died when he didn't have any more of a head anymore. Yeah, it's really sad. But it was still, I was like, holy shit, I'm sitting by Leonard Maltin.
I watched that Ebert documentary and I had to cover my eyes for like the last half hour of that documentary. I'm sorry.
It's scary. And people get down on film criticism, and I know you don't. I think you respect it the way I do. And a lot of people are like, critics are just trying to tell you what to think. It's like, no, they're not. A good critic is telling you what they think and makes it enlightening and entertaining, and a good critic isn't telling you whether or not to like a movie. A good critic tells you, here's what I think about this movie. And honestly, my favorite film reviewer on the internet, Outlaw Vern, and a lot of the other people I like, they don't even really they don't give a rating or stars or anything. They just kind of say, I think it kind of works, and I think it didn't work, or I really like that. And I think reading film criticism and writing film criticism, even just on fucking Letterboxd, helps you understand storytelling better.
Yeah, my favorite, I have a specific favorite guy who writes about movies, though he hasn't done it in years, but it's a friend of mine online, and he has this blog that I've read I'm obsessed with it. But he would do this thing where even if I didn't like a movie, he'd write about it. I'll give you an example. The Speed Racer movie, right?
Okay.
I didn't like it. He wrote this like impassioned essay about it that I thought is like genius. And it made me appreciate the movie. And that's like a really good critic, writer person. He's not a critic, so I don't know what to call him.
But whatever. But it's a piece blogger, of criticism, really. That would be, or film writing, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, it's like he had this great talent. He probably still does. He just doesn't really use it. He had this great talent for like making me appreciate things or think about things in a. He would take everything. He would be respectful as to anything, even if it was like garbage. He would treat it as a work of art and talk about its themes and its metaphors and its, you know what I mean? Even if it was like a dumb shit movie.
I heartily endorse that philosophy. The writer that I like does that too, and I myself try and do that. In fact, I was just about to say, like, I write reviews on Letterboxd, and sometimes I actually will put my heart into it and write a lot about something. And I wrote this thing about Tremors that people were like, wow, man, that's great. Where I'm like, Tremors is actually about, like, to me, there's a message within Tremors that is, it's about accepting, it's about Tremors. It's about accepting that life doesn't ever go as planned. And, none of their plans with the Tremors work. The Tremors plans, the monsters have to adapt to their own plans. And then Kevin Bacon has this idea for this beautiful woman he wants to be with. And then the whole time he's in front of this. And it's always one of those funny things in movies where he's like, who, this girl? She's a total dog. And it's like a 11 out of 10 person because it's a Hollywood movie.
I know.
And anyways, that's why I love that Margot Robbie joke in Barbie. But anyways, so... where they make that joke about, like, you can't really make this point when she's playing your character. Anyway, so, but so and the whole time it's like, well, there's this wonderful woman right in front of you, And so the whole thing is kind of about, like, accepting life's twists and turns and, accepting when plans don't go your way in the guise of a really fun monster movie.
The way I see it is just that even if it's a silly movie, whatever, even a fucking commercial, it's like because human brains are thinking of these things, things are going into it, and it's like people like we were talking about like Justice League, and I mean it's like when the Joss Whedon stuff came out that he's like a mean guy, or whatever. It's like I was like that makes Buffy like more interesting because you could see that in like you could see some of those like. These like self-hatred
like in their performances
or
the writing
like the stories are about like oh you're telling me like Joss Whedon being a mean guy like makes a story about a vampire with a soul less interesting. No, like it's like you see all these things that poured into the show that
from
make
this
it like
butthole
that make it like more like kind of complex and challenging and interesting. So it's like even when it's unintentional there's all these like kind of things that happen in sometimes it's like commercial art, but whatever,
like, whatever,
blockbusters, whatever. Like there's ideas there that
which is why we shouldn't let AI write stuff because that won't happen. Because
absolutely.
You know what it is? It's because the AI, the randomness that humans do, which makes accidentally poetic stuff happen in like a fucking Transformers movie or something.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
The part of the human brain that makes that happen does not exist in a robot. They're just going to put words on a page. And that's, so that's why we shouldn't do it. Because I want to go to like see Indiana Jones 5 where they're rolling this poor bastard out and he's 81 years old. And it's definitely a movie that ends where there is a should have ended and then a real ending. But anyways.
You wanted him to stay.
Oh, did you watch it?
Yeah, I saw it.
I thought staying was I thought that would have made a great ending.
Become a part of history.
Yes, I thought it was a great ending. And
poetic.
I started crying at that point. And then I'm like, oh. And then I cried at the thing. So that part I cried because it's like, this is a beautiful ending to me. And then I cried later because they wanted me to.
Got it.
Then I cried later when what's their name comes back in and they say the same things that was in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I don't like that.
I know, and I don't like it either. Disney fucking manipulated me into crying. That's why Sam doesn't like the beginning to Up, because like Up makes everybody cry.
Neither does
remember
Kristen.
Sam not liking it. She's like, I don't like that they like wanted to make me cry, and they did, and I get it.
I wish Kristen would meet Sam when she said the same thing about Up. She's like, I'm not crying because they want me.
And I don't want to put words in his. I don't want to put words in his mouth because it was probably 12 years ago I heard him say this, but it was something like that where it's like, like, and I totally get that the manipulation. Yeah. But anyways, the point is, if robots are writing everything, we're not going to get to see art in those weird nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
I mean, you can watch Ninja Turtles 2 and take some shit out of it. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen it, but I agree.
The old one, the old one, the
I'm
Vanilla
not a
Ice
Turtles
one.
guy. No, I've never seen it.
I'm excited to see the new one. My daughter and I are big Turtles fans, but the new one just looks fun, so we're going to go watch it.
I've never, that was a blind spot I've always had. I never liked Turtles even as a kid. I remember I was at a friend's house once and he wanted to watch it and I hated it. Like Saturday morning cartoon. I hated it.
And it's funny because
as a little kid.
Sure. That's crazy.
I was like, why are they so annoying? Like
there's got to be somebody, you know.
That was me. Wait, I have to pee so bad.
Yeah, go for it, man. And we'll figure out the video and we'll talk a little more. But I'm not going to go, you know, we won't go for too much longer. But go ahead and pee and I'll talk to
all
fans.
Night.
I know you could, but I can't. I'm looking at chat now. I'm going to see what you guys are talking about. I'm going to read Lobaka's donation. Lobaka made a donation a while ago, and now they've got another one after that, so I gotta get to these. Okay, so Lobaka donated $10, and I'll wait till Jordan's back because you want us to both know about this movie. Okay, Sam Hamich 808 donated $10. Says, "Awesome show, guys. You kept me entertained through my last hour of work, and now that I have an actual job, I can donate somewhat consistently now." Smiley face. That fucking rules, Sam Hamich. Let's hear it for, I won't say you're disposing your income because it's helping us make something awesome, but let's hear it for disposable income. You know what I mean? Have I seen The Bear, the new TV show? No, have not. Yeah, we'll talk more about Trevor. We'll talk about Whitest Kid stuff. And, Trevor was in the group. So when Jordan comes back, we will be talking more about it for a little bit. He has a very... tasty little chunk of video that I think we're going to play, that we're going to try and make work. That is, it's a real treat. So we'll see what happens with that. Diet Aubrey Plaza, I hate it when people spam questions, but I also respect that you're asking this question because it's a good question. Maybe you didn't spam it. Maybe you only asked it twice, but I saw both times. Anyways, Diet Aubrey Plaza says, "Timmy, would you guys ever do another D&D campaign with Jordan or Nate?" I would. I don't think the other guys would be interested. So yeah, but Jordan, someone said, "Timmy, would you guys ever do another D&D campaign with Jordan and Nate?" I would. I don't think the other Whitest Kids would be super interested. I don't even know if you would. Have you ever been that kind of person that plays D&D?
No. I dislike, but I would do it to see what happens because it's good to not say no to things. But
right.
you never know.
I agree.
Right? It's like, what if that becomes this great thing? But I once had a huge fight with my roommates years ago that I lived with because they were trying to teach me a role-playing game and I just didn't understand it. And I thought they were explaining it so badly. And I just I was like, fuck it. And I stormed out upstairs to my room. Like, I've never been a role-playing. I don't like role-playing video games. I hate them.
Yeah.
RPGs. Yeah. I hate them.
You're wrong. That's okay.
But I would do it because for me, I just think it's fun to just do fun stuff with friends or whatever. I don't know. I would try anything.
Yeah.
But I might be bad at it and I'd feel bad.
Whatever. Did you watch Bunkerson and Myers? Trevor was fucking terrible at that.
Some of them.
Trevor was a terrible role game player. And somebody said Trevor carried the chaos so well. No. I carried the chaos. Trevor created the chaos. I carried it through to make it a somewhat recognizable fucking line of thinking. I'm not trying to float my own boat, whatever. But
I liked when Trevor in like the first episode or so, he says, "Why don't we all start a comedy troupe?" Like in the story,
dude,
that killed me.
15 minutes in, I was like,
"Yeah,
is this what we're gonna do? Like, we're gonna."
That killed me.
Like, you get to play a character in a far off, distant land who's nothing like you. And you're going to go into a bar and start a comedy troupe with a bunch of other idiots.
I actually thought, no joke, I thought that was like adorable. That's like all he'd want to do. You know what I mean? It was kind of sweet.
Well, and I guarantee he thought that, like, he planned that. He probably thought about it that day and was like, this is what I'll do.
But there is something sweet about it. Like, it reminds me of, like, a few years ago, it was my birthday. And, like, it was just a really
But you've had a birthday every year, though.
Yeah, that's right. But I just remember this memory. It was, like, a nice memory of, like, I was like, what do I want to do today? And I was thinking every day she was my girlfriend at the time. Every day is like all I want to do. So like, I was like, if we just have a normal day, that's like my birthday.
Yeah.
Like, we watch a movie. It's like
and not have any bullshit happen. You know what I mean? That'd be great.
So that's like what Trevor's thing was like, where it's like, oh, all I want to do is like be in a sketch troupe with my
Yeah, I
friends,
mean, when you think about it, it was a love letter to us that he did that.
Yeah.
But then it felt like he was just trying to make me buy more Rolaids for like 13 episodes. But well, the thing is I stressed a lot about making that.
Sure.
And I would prepare, and the thing is after a while I'm like, okay, I got to prepare to actually like prepare like a normal DM would, but then I have to prepare 15 different fucking contingency plans. Because I gotta assume they're gonna stab this character. I gotta assume they're gonna take the wrong turn at the road. I gotta assume they're gonna blow this house up. Whatever. And it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Thunderbuddy says I somehow caught. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no,
it's okay.
A question about being the tech guy. By the way, I don't know if you saw. I actually haven't posted this, which I feel bad. This girl interviewed me about you guys, about being like the tech guy and the historian guy. And I wrote the long email interview and she posted it. And I was meant to post it to the Reddit, but I haven't yet. So that's out there.
Sounds interesting.
It is interesting. I talk a lot about whitest kids in that. Maybe I was a little embarrassed, so I didn't post it. I don't know.
You want to get... Okay, so should we show some pictures or something? I got some pictures I can get to right now. Do you have anything online, or are you going to take out physical pictures? I have both. I'll start. So these pictures, I only have 3 pictures here. They're not from Jordan. They're from our friend Shandy. You remember Shandy Jordan, right? She would hang out with us.
We're Instagram.
Oh, you're still on buddies. You're still buddies. Okay, good. Yeah, she's great. She was an old friend of ours. I don't know if she's in any Whitest Kid sketches, but she is in that Christmas thing, the Montclair's thing. She's in that.
Yeah.
Anyway, she had recently sent me, she might be watching, I know she watches these, but she sent me some pictures a while back because she was always good at taking pictures too. And she and I hosted karaoke together and had a lot of other weird adventures together, so I won't show those, but there's a few Whitest Kids relevant pictures I'll show right now. So this is, and we were big karaoke people. Shandy and I actually ended up hosting a karaoke show. But so this is her and I and Sam and our friend Crystal singing, and I'm pretty sure we're singing En Vogue. Never gonna get it, never that song. I'm pretty sure that's what we're singing. But that's us. And then I don't know where this photo booth was, but oh shit, I got to go to the actual program. Hold on. I don't know where this photo booth was, but this is a great photo booth. So there's me, and then she had this. And I'd never seen this in years until she sent it to me. There's a great Trevor photo booth picture of him. He had a fucking shtick for the photo booth. He had and I'm sure he thought of it 4 seconds before he got in and did a funny.
Exactly. It's like, that's like a little sketch.
He does this great. It's like you look at this, you're like, man, fuck you. Yeah. It's like, why'd you make this great and funny? It's 6 pictures.
Yeah.
Of yourself. And you somehow made it a thing. You suck, bro. And I just had those pictures for now, but there'll be more. See, that's what my idea is, to have a real. Maybe I should just call this time capsule, even though that's like not being stupid and taking it seriously. But that's kind of what this is. But wait. They're saying what didn't work. White screen. Oh
I
God!
Saw it.
And now Nate's it worked for you because of Sorry, Nate. Hold on. Nate's calling me. I got to start over. They didn't see anything. So that means I have to. Yeah. I did something wrong. And Nate was calling me. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm just going to figure it out. So, I'll try it again, everybody. Sorry about that. I think I need to go to the other. Yes. Okay. Here we go. I think I can make it work. So everybody, just cool your jets, and we'll start over. Sorry about that, everybody. I closed the thing. Okay. I got it. We're gonna go back to this. Okay, and then we're gonna go over here. Okay. And then we're gonna. What the fuck, man? Now everything's gone. I know. Yeah, and people are trying to freak out. It's like, this happens all the time, you guys. Like, this is how we work. So just chill the fuck out. Okay, so and it happens to not just us. It happens to fucking everybody. Although it happens to us a lot. What? Okay, now my everything's being dumb right now. Oh my fucking God. What the fuck? That's not working. God damn it. I might just have to give up on this idea. I don't know why it didn't happen.
Oh.
Well, you and I had the video thing figured out, so what the hell?
Yeah,
you know?
it looks good to
me. Yeah, but that's because you're seeing... They can't see what you're seeing, is the long and the short of it. So, and now... I'm just fucking up everything. Hold on. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Where even is this? Okay, there we go. All right, So one thing at a time. We're back. A dinosaur story. But let me... I would love a stream of it. Yeah, everybody go ahead and make your fun. I normally have pretty good technical streams because I keep it pretty simple. So suck my dirty butthole. So we've got that. And then I will just try this right now.
Okay.
And then what do we got here? What do we see in here? We don't see anything in here. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Yeah, maybe I do need to talk to Nate, which is a bummer. But
Nate's been nothing but nice to me.
Fuck him. I don't. So he knows what he's doing. Big fucking deal. All right, it's not working. I cannot.
Would it not work for me too if I showed photos? Or
maybe it would. You go ahead and try.
Okay.
I mean, what else is gonna? Dude, I just don't understand. Okay.
Okay. Well, let me see.
Well, we're back, which is fine, but I just don't get what the fuck happened there. So yeah, Nate's in the chat, but I mean, he can call me. Jordan, you go ahead and get some pictures or whatever, or we can probably show that video. I think I had that working. I don't know what happened. I'll call them back.
I'm gonna see what happens with this. Does this work? Does everyone see the picture of Trevor? Well, I don't hear Timmy now.
I just had myself muted.
Okay.
It's super big for them, but they will see it in a second.
Oh, it's big?
Yeah, I got it, man. I got it.
Oh, okay.
It's not something you can do. It's something I can do. Oh, look at that. Okay, now you can show us these pictures. Trevor drinking a beer.
Well, so there is a joke here, too.
Okay.
So does everyone see the picture? They say it's very zoomed in and they see his ear.
Yeah, they're on a delay. So...
Oh, okay.
They complain quicker than they can see. So you just gotta...
so
now it should be fun.
This is my little mini story in 2 pictures, okay?
Uh-huh.
So I was before a show. I was taking pictures of everyone. I've got you. I've got everybody. And Trevor kind of looked a little miserable. I just pointed the camera at him and he looked like that. He looked miserable. And then I was like, come on, Trevor, like, look happy. So then I'm going to close that. And then he did this. Do you see it? Does everyone see it? Did that work? Oh, yeah, you're muted again, Timmy. I'm sorry, I don't hear you.
We got it. They got it. That's really funny. Holy shit.
So then I'm like, come on, Trevor, like look like you're happy to be here. And
that
he did this like
terrible
bullshit like fake smile, and it was just funny.
That's great.
It made me laugh. And those photos make me a little sad.
That's how that bitch worked, man.
But it's funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I've got you and him too from the same day. This was February 2007.
So if I sent you the pictures, it would work. So I'm going to send you the pictures I was talking about. Yeah, I forget how this works. Sam's had me do it before too. So I'm going to do that real quick.
Okay.
In fact,
I've got one of you with the piano's stage behind you. That's
go ahead and go ahead and put it up there, man.
Yeah, why not? Right? Fuck it.
And we can watch that. Fuck it. We can watch that video. If you want to show the same video we were looking at earlier, I mean, you know.
Oh, sure, the baby one.
Yeah, which I don't think anybody's seen for. And here's these pictures. I prefer you to show the top one last, but whatever you want to do. Okay, so what are you showing to them right now? Oh, wow. Yo, I wore that hoodie a lot, and I think it looked great, and I still have it somewhere, or no, I think I have lost it. I think it's gone. If I still had it, I would wear it, because clearly it fits when I'm fat, so I would do that. What are the pins? I can't tell you. I can't even see. One's probably from our friends, like Art Collector, the Fall Collection. One... I can't see what that... One's a Devo pin. The white one, you can see top half on the bottom there. That's a Devo Duty Now for the Future pin. The red one on top, I couldn't tell you. What was also sick about that hoodie, but it fell off because I abused my body, just like we all did. It had a drawstring. You can see it came out of the hole. It also had like a little silver deer pull tab on the zipper that I broke. So
Wow, I didn't realize you have all this stuff about the hoodie. That's great.
Oh, and I wish I could find this drawing somewhere, but not long after I met Trevor, he drew me, and it was me in that hoodie, just with but the face in the hoodie was like teeth and eyes, because that is pretty much my face, is teeth and eyes, you know? So.
Oh, yeah, I have a drawing of you.
Oh, yeah, you have some good ones of me, man.
Yeah. I've got 2. Should I put a drawing or do you
go for it, man. Go for whatever you want. This is fun. I think people are liking it, and I figured out making it look. People can see it. Whereas with me, there's something I forgot to do. And Nate, I'm sorry I didn't answer. Oh, these drawings. I think we've seen these before, but they're so great. Yeah, that is what like we shoot me from a specific angle on the show for a reason, you guys. This is why my head looks like that.
No. I should explain. I'm not like a fine artist.
I know.
So I don't know like how to draw lifelike people's heads. So it's really just, it's like a failure on my part to try to understand that. It's not even meant to be a comedic.
No, this is an experiment. That's what you would do. You would see if you can draw things. And somebody says very Bill Plimpton. Definitely see that. Yeah.
Here's the next one. Did the next one work? Let me see.
I've not seen it yet.
Okay.
Oh, somebody in chat says Timmy is fun to draw. That's a Dan Ballard who has drawn me many times. That's right. That's a good point. Like, these people have drawn us a lot.
So this is Timmy and Trevor.
Mm-hmm. Is that Trevor up there with the backwards ball cap on, too?
It's him a bunch. Yeah, he's got the hat, and he's below with the AIDS thing on his.
Okay, yep.
So that's from a sketch. Mm-hmm. That's from their first ever show. He was like, he played this AIDS thing.
He was AIDS.
And so that's like supposed to be Trevor on the bottom and on the side. And then that's Timmy in the middle, and that's one of the best drawings because I'm not
a cool drawing.
I'm not like an artist really, but I used to keep sketchbooks all the time. It's not my main thing, but I was like, I remember when I drew that, I was like, holy shit! Actually,
it's a good drawing, man. I like it.
It looks like the person I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think it definitely pulls it off for sure.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
There you go.
I like it a lot. So yeah, I'll have to figure out the picture sharing for myself, but yeah, you're good to go. So whatever else you want to share, or we can watch that sketch.
You want to watch I think people deserve a sketch.
Yeah, let's do it. That one's not super long, right?
They're all like 3 minutes. I've got a bunch. Do you want to see what it? Okay,
say one name. Just say one word titles for things that don't give them away, but I'll get it. So baby. A lot
of these were never on the show.
Yeah, that's why it's going to be a treat. Baby.
There's
not George Stenton. Let's not do anything that might get us in trouble.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
Sears Family Portrait with
I do
Darren.
not remember that
one.
Oh,
Darren's a portrait photographer. He's pretty funny.
Is that Baby Gonna Die?
There's Pinocchio.
I don't remember
Pinocchio.
That one. I
didn't either because I was rewatching videos. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
I kind of remember Pinocchio.
It's about Trevor is stuck in the whale.
Oh, that's so dumb. I think the guys might be mad if I let us watch something that wasn't very good. But I remember, I think Darren, I want to ask Darren about the Sears thing, but I remember the Sears thing fondly. Is that Baby Gonna Die?
Sketches ever, but it's really fucked up is the Columbine sketch.
That would probably be okay. I gotta have my pops.
Yeah, that's the punchline.
Yeah.
Trevor lying on a date. That one, the audio was a little hard to hear.
I said let's just watch the baby one.
The baby one, yeah. The baby one.
Because it was working when we were testing it. It worked like gangbusters.
Yeah.
So.
And Metallica Rules. You know that one?
Yeah.
They got that one.
Dad, what about Well, I've Invented Something? You remember that one?
No.
Well, I've invented something, and now you're all gonna die.
Oh wow! No, I don't remember that one. Wow.
Yo, don't type stuff in caps, you guys. Yes, we're gonna show something. Chill the fuck out. Show it! Show it all!
Okay, baby pop. I'll do this one.
Yeah. Oh okay. Yeah, don't say. Well, the title will become clear.
Okay, baby. I'll just call baby.
Whatever.
So okay, share screen. This, and we'll make sure I got share sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sharing.
There it is. Fuck yes.
I'm going to start. We've got a good wiggle room in the beginning if it's not working because it's just cool. Music playing. So.
Yeah, definitely turn it down a little more.
I'll turn it down more.
I think we're good.
Cheryl, sure is nice to be pregnant. Yeah. Now we don't have to go to work anymore. Work. Yeah. Bosses. Yeah. You know, my boss came in the other day with all these numbers, and I was like, what? Bosses. Numbers. Look wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. What are you gonna name your baby? I'm gonna name it Mike Stand. Oh, after Mike Stand. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What are you gonna name your baby? Baby. Oh, after baby. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice being pregnant. Yeah. It's like I read that life is beautiful. Carrie? Yeah? Did your baby just pop? No. It's fine. It does that sometimes. Carrie, I think that your baby just popped. No, it didn't. It's fine. Carrie, you're not pregnant anymore. Yes, I am. I'm still pregnant. No, look, you have no baby. No, it's just looking funny. No, Carrie, you're not pregnant. I am pregnant. Look over there. What is it? I don't see. Hey! You tried to pop my baby. No, I didn't. Just because you're not pregnant doesn't mean that I don't have pop. I am pregnant. Karen, no, you're not. The gift of life has been taken from you. Look. No, it hasn't. Look over there. I don't see anything. Stop it. Karen. Just because you don't have a baby doesn't mean I can't have a baby. Oh, you're right. My baby's dead and now I'm sad. I'm postpartum depression. Karen, you can't have postpartum depression if you never had a baby. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna get attention now. You get that plenty of miscarriage attention. I don't want miscarriage attention. I want baby attention. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? I have an idea. Well, what is it? Wow. That was really fast. What did you do? I enrolled in public school.
Ladies and gentlemen, this sketch has a very serious message behind it.
Very serious.
Yes. Today's public school system is dramatically underfunded and grossly overpopulated.
And it might interest you guys to know that the decline in after-school programs is only matched by the startling decline in teacher salaries.
Yeah.
It's true.
But there's actually something that every one of us that are here can do about this.
Yeah.
Don't send your kids to public school. I mean, there are private schools right there.
Yeah. Are you poor?
Yeah. Now, I know you could be like, oh, well, private school costs so much money, it costs so much money, how am I going to afford it? Hey, work a little harder at your job and stop being a drunk.
Yeah. That's right, Trevor. You know, you might maybe you might save a couple bucks sending your kid to a public school, but you're going to end up spending that money anyways because you're going to have to bail little Bobby out of prison every other week, and not to mention the dry cleaning bills and getting all of the junky cum out of little Susie's clothes. Oh, that's great.
Sending your child to public school is like sending them to a public pool, you know? It's like, hello, it's why God made country clubs.
Yeah.
All right?
You know what, guys? Go ahead and send your kids to a public school, and then 20 years down the road, when he's a farmer, you know, working without a secretary, and he's enjoying his basic cable, you can use all the money that you saved to mail him a gigantic, I'm sorry, Hallmark card to where he lives in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Don't send your kids to public school.
It's gross.
This message brought to you by the state of Connecticut.
Man. That was great. That's a great sketch, and I kind of forgot all about it, you know?
Yeah, I want to say a sincere thing, which is like, you guys' shows were so funny, and I was someone who was seeing a lot of comedy shows at that time, and it's like nothing was as like actually making me laugh out loud funny as like the whitest kids shows at pianos.
Right.
Like for real. That's why I was so enthusiastic.
Well, that's why we're friends with you, is because you have a bad sense of humor. So, yeah.
But it's like weird. I mean, not to put shit on other things, but it's like actually going to a comedy show and being like, holy shit, it's actually really funny. It was like hard to do because there's a lot, like, even I'm telling you, like, friends of mine would do shows and I'd show up and be like, yeah, that was good. But I'd be like, oh God, that was not, that was not good.
But we had fun, and we had some great live shows. And, that's one of those sketches where it's funny enough. I guess I suppose we could have figured out a way to do it on TV, but I think it would have lost most of its power. Yeah. I think it was really a live-only sketch, because when that balloon under their shirt pops, it's really funny live, because it's like, well, was that supposed to happen? Because also, anybody who saw us regularly live knew that our shit broke constantly. We broke the ceiling. Zach broke the ceiling at that bar once. Remember? Like a panel fell down. Like, we were fucking nuts. So when you watch us do that live and have something break on purpose, they're like, what? You know, so
do you remember
really
when it was the Bigfoot sketch and it was Sam jumped off the stage, but he tripped on the monitor cable. The monitor, for people who don't go to live shows, is the giant speaker.
So that people on stage can hear what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. And he tripped and brought it down with him and like on top of him.
Oh my God.
As he fell off the stage. That. It was so crazy. Yeah. He was okay, but it was because that thing weighs a ton.
Yeah. You're talking about was it at Pianos? That one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing was heavy. That's crazy. Lobaka says, was the monitor okay?
I think it was. Yeah.
No, we're not going to watch the Columbine sketch. That's one of those things where I want to make sure everyone's comfortable with it because it's also like not that funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Is it?
I'm sorry.
Okay. It's
funny.
No, I remember it being funny
brutal.
too. Yeah, but it is pretty brutal. I mean, I'd be okay with it, but I'm not in it. So
it's one of those ones that I was.
I don't think I'm in it. They wrote it before me.
I was talking about before, where I was. It's like there's no nice way to put that sketch, but it's undeniably clever and funny. But it's not like a. It's not like a very nice sketch.
Well, yeah, but that's one of those things also, despite it being not nice, it comes from the right angle. So I think it would be a hard one to call, to say, like, I think at the end of the day, anybody that watches it, they might be like, oh, that's horrible. But it's like, well, I don't disagree with it.
For sure.
You know, and, but yeah, you know, I would want to make sure the other guys are comfortable with showing it. But, I don't even think I'm in that one. I maybe am a very small tertiary kind of character in it. Because I think they wrote that before me. Huh?
Really?
Yeah, I think that was an older one they wrote before me, and I ended up just being in it, just like with the slapping sketch or classroom, you know. So
I've got like Zach being mean to Sam on stage, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, we should do some more of those. You know, maybe tonight, but I mean, also we don't want to blow our loads too much.
No, I know.
We're gonna turn some into probably. You know what we could also do is turn some into donation gold prizes.
That's right.
Because we're talking about doing like. You know, live streams and auctions and stuff, but also be like, hey, if we hit this goal, we'll do this or X. Yeah. You know, so people are like, what about synopsis? I'll just say this: the Columbine sketch references the horrific mass shooting at Columbine.
That's all you want to say.
It's about I'll just say this: it's a meeting of the Columbine Yearbook Committee.
The Yearbook Committee.
So that's it. But why don't you can show the pictures I just sent you, since I described them and people couldn't see them.
Where did you send them to me on?
Email.
Oh, okay.
I
see.
Yeah, just download those, and maybe if you could show them in the order. Okay. I feel so stupid that I did that, because normally when I take over the show, things do run smoothly. The only thing we didn't test, because I test stuff out beforehand, but the only thing we didn't test out was me sharing stuff. We tested you sharing stuff, which is why it worked without much of a hitch.
Okay.
But anyways, this isn't the band school shooting sketches at Ask Pop-Tart. No, there is a different school shooting sketch that we shot for TV that is way worse. Because Columbine takes place after the school shooting. The school shooting sketch, well, it's there in the name. So
everything Trevor says in the Columbine sketch is horrible.
Yeah, but it's also
that's all it is.
It probably happened. You know, in some way. And it probably happens about every mass shooting, you know?
It's an interesting thought experiment.
When a white person commits a mass shooting, it is the conversation that is probably had about that person. It's like, you know, how they let that kid off after only 3 months of jail after raping a girl because they didn't want to ruin his tennis career or whatever, you know?
Oh, God. So, okay, well, I'm not
going to... Remember that guy? We'll get into all that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyways...
Is this working now?
So these are the pictures I was referencing earlier that you guys couldn't see. So, yes, we can see it now. So, my friend Shandy sent us to these. She was a buddy of ours. It was, she was not in any Whitest Kid sketches, but she did some other stuff with us. Crystal on the left is in some Whitest Kid sketches. She's in the worst orchestra in the world sketch, I think. And some other stuff. You can see her around it. Anyways, but we did a lot of karaoke. Me and Shandy, the two people in the middle, host a karaoke. In case you can't tell, that guy's me, but I'm a fucking moron. Anyways, we used to host karaoke. Sam would come sing karaoke. So here's us singing karaoke, and it was probably in vogue. Never gonna get it.
Never gonna get it.
Never gonna get it. Yeah, it's funny because they heard me before. They didn't see it, so I don't have to say the same things. But I am anyways. Mrs. Lippman's at the top says Sam's got that proper tongue you thing when you sing. Yeah, he's a professional. Look at his tongue.
Sexy stuff. Just imagine.
Yeah, imagine. Imagine all the cunnilingus. Okay, move on. Please.
Okay, I'll do the next
one. To the
now.
one of me. Yep.
Okay.
So I don't know what these pictures are from. Well, obviously it's a bar we hung out at. Oh, you didn't have them in together. You have to.
I don't know how to do that.
That's okay. Just open it up.
Figure out how to share one thing at a time.
So some bar we were hanging out at once had a photo booth, and so this is my photo booth pictures, which I think are pretty fucking awesome. These are great pictures of me, if I do say so myself. And I missed the shit out of that cardigan. This was in my phase where I wore that cardigan all the time, and I drank a lot of scotch, and I smoked unfiltered Lucky Strikes. And this girl that I was into, that I was hitting out at a bar once, was like, "So you drink scotch, wear cardigans, and you smoke those cigarettes?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "That makes you smell exactly like my grandpa." And I was like, "Well, I guess we're not gonna fuck." So I didn't say that to her, but that's what it said up here. Yeah, so I don't remember. It was at some bar, but there's a lot of old photo booth pictures. There's some ones of me and Sam really young that you can find somewhere that are black and white, like some bar, probably 2003.
I'll go to the next one now.
Yeah, go do it. So then there's one more, and this also happened at the same photo booth. And this is what we were talking about earlier, where the guy just, I'll just kind of walk into this and suddenly do a funny bit where he's on some fucking phone conversation with himself or something, like whatever is happening. So, Miss Kit McNugget says, "I remember these. Have we shown these before? I don't know. But anyways, it's a great, that's a great picture. There's some other pictures she sent me that have nothing to do with Whitest Kids that I posted them in Instagram once a while back, but one of them I should send you the picture. Do you mind if I send you one more picture that doesn't
you can.
really have to do with this, but people will enjoy it?
And I have so many pictures. I have pictures from the Sam and Zach graduating SVA.
That is so weird. I wonder. I'm not saying you're weird for having them. I mean, I get it, but it's just weird. It's just weird to think about like showing them.
Oh no, I won't. I was just giving an example.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I have so much stuff.
Why did this download? Come on. Okay.
Okay, wait. Oh, let me check my mail.
It's not there yet.
Okay.
It will be there soon. Okay, here we go. Okay, so while I'm sending it to you, I will explain what the fuck it is. And fans, you, Whoretown, you guys, y'all, I'll just say y'all. I may have told the story before, but whatever. So in 2007, my friend Shandy and I and her boyfriend at the time and me, the three of us went to a heavy metal festival in New Jersey. And it was being held. I sent you the picture, by the way, Jordan.
Oh,
okay. So and we went to specifically see Guar, but Testament was there and some other good bands. So we went to this festival in New Jersey, and the festival was in the parking lot of some big stadium or something. And so you can't park at that parking lot because the show's there. So you park in a different parking lot, and they put you in a shuttle and take you to the festival. And the shuttle we got in was a school bus, okay? So I sit down, and this kid next to me, I can't remember if I bummed him this cigarette or not, but he was like 18, maybe even a little younger, I don't know. But I can't remember if I gave him the cigarette or he had it. But he's like, "Oh, I'm going to smoke a cigarette right now." And so he smokes a cigarette, and I sneakily asked my friends, like, "Take a picture of this." Because the kid lights it up, because we're on a school bus, remember? So he lights it up and goes, "Man, I always fucking wanted to do this."
Like Jack Nicholson.
Huh?
He's Jack Nicholson.
Right. He's like,
I always
wanted to smoke on a bus. But I get it, But then we saw Guar, and I can show those pictures sometime too. But so we saw Guar, and as everybody knows, you go to Guar, you get fucking messy. They shoot green cum out of you. Not real cum. They shoot green goo at you out of dick-shaped cannons. And I wore that white t-shirt on purpose. Because that's what was happening. I wanted it to be like that. And so after the show, the three of us were green. Our faces were green. Our clothes were green. We were green. We went to Denny's, and the lady sat us in a separate room away from the rest of the diners.
Wow.
It's like they want to freak out the locals, and we were fucking green. Like there's a picture.
Room.
Yeah, there you go. There's a picture Shandy has up. She's got my red shades on and like pulling them down, and it's like just face, but then green. It's like we were fucking covered. It was great. I don't know what happened to that shirt, but I later took that shirt that was like green in different colors and basically tie-dyed by Guar, and I just wrote Guar on it with a Sharpie, and I was like, that's a great band t-shirt, but then I lost it. So
you know, my friend Dave, who Timmy knows, he did the comic book cover of a Guar comic a few years back. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's one of his bigger comic book jobs.
Dave has done a number of comic book art things, some trading cards and stuff, and
he did a lot of trading card stuff. But yeah, he did one of the weird ones he did was this Guar comic.
That's awesome, man.
Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I have to pee really bad again. It comes in like 2 or 3s.
That's what she said, bro. So we're going to we'll probably wrap it up soon. But
okay. I feel like I could say more, but yeah, let me just pee and then I'll be refreshed.
And I just realized how I'm supposed to show pictures myself, so now I will do that.
Oh, good. Okay.
And okay, so I have some other picture. Well, I'll just show some pictures of the Denny's thing. I don't have other Whitest Kids pictures prepared to show right now. Well, I might. Let's take a look around. So everybody, if you have enjoyed this stream tonight, please say in chat, I can't hear you. Okay, I'm just going to see if I have any other pictures. Oh, there's a couple. Yeah, I could show those. I have a couple great photos. There we go. I will show those in a moment here. Mic is low, thank you. So I'll start showing these pictures. Maybe Jordan will get mad at me. I don't know. But he'll be back soon because he's a boy and he's in an apartment in New York City, which means he's not ever far from the toilet, you know, and the toilet and computer are never far apart. I feel like there was a more concise way to put that thought out there, and I just didn't do it. But anyways. Jordan, I figured out how to show pictures, but I have to do it 2 different ways. Okay. And I will do it, and it's going to be great. And this is how we should have done it in the first place. And Nate, if you're listening or watching, I'm sorry I didn't talk to you, but I did figure it out myself. So thank you, bro. Well, I'll be getting that put together very shortly here. We'll look at some fun pics. But in the meantime, I'm going to have to also show Jordan somehow.
Yeah, what?
Let me see if I can figure it out.
And let me know if you want me to show. I've got
you got so much stuff. I just found some fun Trevor pictures, and yesterday was August 7th, so I thought it would
I have a really fun Darren picture. This puts to the test my thing that I said I've never really interacted with Darren. This is like a fun picture I took with him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Should I show it? I think people will go crazy for it.
Let's go crazy. Yeah, just a little bit, but let me get this.
Okay.
Because I've almost have this figured out, so we'll see.
Okay, great.
Oh, God. Okay, we'll see if this works.
You're the boss, Mr. Williams.
Sure thing, Mr. Williams. Okay, so
I love that.
So you can see the picture. Okay, great. So now they can't see us, but that's okay. So I just found this picture, everybody, from this is when we went to South by Southwest, and it's a fun picture, and I love it. That's all I have to say.
I love that.
But, obviously this just came off Getty Images. Is this even legal to show this right now with that thing on it? But it's a great fucking picture of us. Yeah. It's one of those pictures that has a lot of personality to it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about Trevor wore that fucking shirt all the time. And now, in retrospect, that shirt kicks ass. That is a kick-ass shirt he's wearing. Also, I think every picture we've shown of me tonight, old pictures, I have that fucking cardigan on. That cardigan was ever present, kids. That was everywhere. Okay, so next picture.
I feel like old-timey hat you're wearing.
Well, so this is from Adventure Club. When we were at South by Southwest in Austin. Trevor, Sam, and we just started making TV money. We're like, let's go buy cool fucking hats. Trevor bought a pith helmet. He didn't have it on there. Here's another karaoke picture with Trevor and Amy singing with us. So, and there's another badass T-shirt I can't find anymore. But so that's a pretty good. I have no idea what song we're singing there.
I am not seeing it. I don't know about you.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm only seeing.
Yeah. You
one.
can't see. Hold on. Now you can see it.
There it is. Oh, cute.
Yeah. So I don't know what song we're singing there, but it's a nice picture.
I've never been a karaoke guy. It actually terrifies me.
Which is funny because you're a good singer and a good performer. I
could go on stage and sing my own songs to total strangers. I can't sing someone else's song.
Right. So you're such an egomaniac. It gives you anxiety.
Yeah.
So here's this situation. Oh, Jordan, I need to speed up your pictures too. Okay. So this situation happened a lot. This is me and Trevor being wasted with our buddy Sean. Sean is somebody that Trevor and Amy knew through their page program, right? And Sean ended up working with Trevor way later on. Like, he worked with us on the Trevathon and stuff. But anyways, this is on like an old camera phone. And Sean was very into buying drinks and just keeping the party going. And he would say, here's to feeling good all the time. And so this is us. I bet if I saw what time this photo was taken, I'd be like, I'd just get tired. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, fuck, God, that's late. Whatever. So that's a fun one. And it makes me miss both those guys. One of them I could still hang out with, one not. Sean, also, maybe this is why he and Trevor and I could stay up so late. The 3 Irish Americans of our friend group, and you can tell Sean's also got the dimples, Yes. So there you go. And then this is from, I bet, San Francisco. Jordan, let me speed up your photos. This is from, I bet, San Francisco at our merch booth. Another kick-ass T-shirt that I don't have anymore. But
is that Trevor?
Yeah. So it's,
God, it looks weird.
Well, it was after a show or during a show. I think it was during a show or in between shows or something. So they didn't have all the house lights on yet. So we just had this like little lamp on at our merch table.
Just like doesn't look like him. It's like
I know the lighting is so weird.
Yeah.
But that's a great picture.
He looks like a Pixar person.
Yeah. Well, he for much of a big dork he was, he did have, and I know there's plenty of people that already think this, he had an attractive face, he had nice features, and there was not a lot of wrinkles and shit happening. And, and we'll never know how wrinkly he would get. We're going to find that about me pretty soon. But anyways, that's part of it. But,
I mean, there is something to be said for that. It's like the James Dean thing. Like,
there's
like kind of almost
Marilyn Monroe,
almost an immortal quality to dying young, which is a strange paradox.
Well, it's like with Betty White. Like, we'll never know what Betty looked like. Betty White looked like if she turned 100.
Yeah, we'll never know.
She died like 3 hours before she turned 100.
We missed some prime jerking opportunities.
It's like, oh man, this chick's only 99. If she was only
it's like when creeps are like, the actresses like, oh, when's she gonna turn 18? When's like Scarlett Johansson gonna be 18? You're like,
gross.
That's like the Betty White 100 thing.
Someone saying I have my hand out like I'm asking for money. No, never, because I'm too stupid. If I have my hand like that, it's because I'm in the middle of talking, which is how I normally am. When whenever I've appeared on the radio or a podcast, I still do this. And you can't, even when you can't see me, you can only hear me. This is happening, which I believe is a part of speaking. Is it? No, I mean really, because it's
Timmy
part of the emphasis.
Basic human behavior.
But a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't get it. So there's that. And those are fun.
Those
are some fun pictures.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that happened. Okay, back to this. Okay, cool.
Catching up on the chat during that.
And I got, now I'm glad I figured out the picture thing.
Yeah. Smooth sailing.
We can't see you now even. That was for like a second while I showed pictures. Good God.
Uh-huh.
People are just looking for any crack they can jump into.
Kind of like having children, the chat. It's just like, all right, kids.
You know what? My daughter... I mean, I love chat, and I love our fans, and I'm so stoked. You guys feel a big butt coming. Here it comes. I'm so stoked on how, like, did you know they matched Zach up to like $2,000 in donations? Or Zach matched them, but they donated $2,000 in half an hour the other day. And Zach's like, I'll match whatever they donate for a half an hour. And I'm like, wow. All right, buddy. And I'm like, Zach, I'm really glad you're doing this because I, like, literally cannot do that. Yeah. I would be having a big problem if I did that. And he's, you know, at a point where he could. So that's great that he did. But anyway,
I'm like out of work. I mean, I don't know if chat knows, I work as a background actor.
Yes, we didn't talk about that tonight. Yeah.
And it's like, it's been months. It sucks. It's really helped me pay the rent. And now I haven't been doing it.
Dried up?
The 2 strikes. No, because there's
the
writers.
Yeah.
First, the writer's strike kind of made it weird, but some shows still kept, like, I did Daredevil during the writer's strike.
I'm fucking reporting you.
And now it's the SAG strike, so there's just no shoots at all. But I do have something next week that's non-union.
Oh, hopefully that'll help you.
Yeah, but it's paying very little. It's paying really badly. But I'm kind of desperate
because they can. That's the whole idea. Anyways, but so that's all to say that I love our fans. However, my daughter is less annoying, and so no, it's not like having a kid.
Well, it's like having like 200 children.
Jordan, I told the guys this the other night. My daughter and I, since you saw the Barbie movie, and I know you didn't like it, that's okay. But you know that there's
I had mixed feelings.
Okay,
yeah.
So, well, anyways, the reason I brought it up, you know, there's a 2001 reference.
Yes.
So, so then I showed I told my daughter, I'm like, hey, we'll watch this movie, and I was just, we'll watch the start. We'll just watch the starting. So we watched the monkey part, and then she loved how it spins into the spaceship. So we watched that, and she loved the Hal storyline because she likes kind of murder mysteries and thriller kind of stuff, and that's great.
Oh God, yeah.
And then I think I can leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
So the last part starts, and I just told the story the other night, so my bad, but it sounds like some people weren't there anyways. So there's just silence on her end. And you know, I have trained her pretty well not to talk during movies. However, it was like extra quiet. Yeah. And I remember I said at one point, like, are you staring? And I like said it loud because it was loud. I remember saying, like, are you staring right in the middle? It's really cool if you try to stare in the middle of it.
Yeah.
She didn't respond at all. And then the film ends and lights come up and she's just like it's bad. And she's like near tears, and I didn't say anything and just kind of sat there for a second. I said, so after I let a few minutes go by, what did you think? She's like, I really don't think I like the ending. I don't know, you know, and we talked about it, and I told her, I'm like, you know, a lot of people get spoon-fed, like, not just kids, adults prefer spoon-fed art. It sucks.
Yeah.
That's why I can only stand so much theorizing about Twin Peaks. You know what I mean? It's like
sure. Oh, well,
you know what I mean?
I have very weirdly picky, specific things that I'm okay with and not okay with in the way people talk about Twin Peaks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't blame people for not being able to understand, though.
But no, I don't want to. I don't need fan theories for that because that's not what it's about to me. But anyway, so I was but the thing, the point is, I was explaining to her, like, this is like the first time you've seen art that like a movie at least that challenged you,
ambiguity.
Yeah, because she's been to art museums with her mom in Chicago. Her mom's from Chicago, so they've been to some art museums there. And I'm like, sometimes you see paintings that aren't easy to see what it is, right? Like it's abstract. Yeah. She's like, yeah. I said, well, movies can do that too. I said, movies started as art, not as product. And you know, a lot of the stuff we watch, even though we enjoy it, a lot of it is just made to make money. You know, Marvel movies, whatever. And but that's generally what kids watch. We were kids. We watched product. We watched fucking toy commercials. I mean, G.I. Joe was a toy commercial show, you know? Yeah. So, and think about how many fucking versions of Batman they had based on the animated series. Oh my God, that's so funny.
I was just talking about this with someone.
It's so great. Anyways, but so I was talking to her about that, and I said, you know, so we enjoyed some of the special effects, so we watched behind the scenes on the special effects. And whenever it got to somebody like Arthur C. Clarke or somebody talking about what the story meant, I fast-forwarded. Wow. And I told her, I said, I don't really know what it means either. And I said, I feel like I have a good understanding for myself what it means. I'm not going to tell you that. And I don't want you to see what anybody else thinks about it. I just want you to kind of think about it for a few days, a month, a year, whatever. And then eventually we'll talk about it. And she was like, it just made me very scared and confused. And I was like, guess what? That's probably the 20th time I've seen that movie. It makes me scared and confused. It is a scary and confusing scene. It is fucking... existential dread. It is like fucked up. So and it's beautiful because it's like completely G-rated. It's like so scary. So I love that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, dude, you could show it to. I mean, you could technically show it to preschoolers. In fact, maybe I should start trying to do some substitute teaching again. Anyway,
well, they did that Saturday morning cartoon based on it. You know,
that'd be amazing.
2001 Babies. Yeah.
But then by the end of this talk we had, she's like, I am feeling better about it because I really liked it. I just didn't know what was going on there. I'm like, well, that's fine. But she said something else that made me like, I'm like, I don't know how she's becoming this smart, and maybe I'm accidentally a good parent.
You know it.
Well, so during one of the most famous scenes from that movie, I'm afraid, Dave. I'm afraid.
It freaks me out.
So when he's unplugging it, my daughter says, out of the blue, no prompts for me. She goes, most movies would have music during this part, but because this one doesn't, it's super scary and really awesome. That's what she said. I said, yeah. I said, listen, you're going to end up seeing this director's other films at some point, and like, the guy knew what he was fucking doing.
He never had a composer. I mean, that's
he
crazy.
didn't really do music at all, So, and he would have the what would you call the music that's within the scene? Diegetic, or is that the other one?
Yeah, or he'd use classical. Kubrick said, "Why would I have a composer when we have the greatest classical music that's ever been made?" It's kind of a funny take on that, but
yeah, but it makes sense, and it's also why Ridley Scott is probably glad he did that, because then a few years later, I don't know, 10, 12 years later, he makes Alien. And Alien feels like in a lot of ways a response to 2001, and he was able to use the same fucking song they used because he used classical music. Do 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 do. I forget the name of the classical tune, but so and I told Bergen, I'm like, someday we'll watch Alien, which is a lot easier to grasp, generally, but I said, what's cool about Alien in 2001? 2001 is like about rich people in space, and Alien's like, okay, thousands of years later, here's the fucking truckers and what they're doing.
The blue collar, yeah.
And of course, the rich people have their weird abstract adventure, and the blue collar truckers are in a slasher movie. Yeah.
The thing about that scene with Hal when he's like, I'm afraid, like, it makes you feel bad for Hal. That's the thing that messes with your head.
Yeah,
because you can't not watch that and feel, but also Hal's being manipulative there.
Yes, yeah.
So it's Hal's being very. One way to look at it is he's being very cold and manipulative and calculating, and that he's playing on the guy's supposed, maybe his emotions. But the other way that you could look at it is that Hal's telling the truth and that he is afraid, and that fucks you up.
Yeah, and he's scared. But with both of those emotional sides to it, he was created by humans. The same humans who millions of years before took the first tool and immediately started killing each other with it. Yeah, possibly due to the influence from this outer space object. And then at the end, here this is kind of what how I interpret the movie. And then at the end, he flies into it, and it's basically summons him into it, and he goes into it and becomes the Star Child thing or whatever. And it's essentially, to me, the monoliths being like, okay, that didn't work. We're gonna start this shit over.
Interesting.
That's kind of what I think.
Have you seen on YouTube Kubrick explaining the ending?
No
crazy?
Is it the phone call? The recording of the phone call? That's on the disc I have. I haven't watched it.
It is?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre to hear. It's like as if David Lynch was like, "Oh, here's what Mulholland Drive is."
Oh, really?
You'd be like,
see, I don't even want that.
No, it's you don't, but you can't help. It's like you can't help, right? Because it's like there are things. The same with, I talk about this in my podcast because I do a podcast about They Might Be Giants. And
yes, don't let's start. Check it out, you guys. If you like,
I've said
TMBG.
this to Dave many times where I'm like, I want to know what the hell this song is about, but I'm like, I don't though, because I've wondered for 30 years what this song is about.
Like, I think my favorite song of theirs might be Purple Toupee. I don't want to know.
Oh, I know. Well, I know everything.
That's great. Shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't. And I'm sure it'd be interesting to hear about it, but also I just enjoy.
That's the show.
I enjoy it. Yeah. And same with Devo. I mean, Devo's Devo's not as intentionally obscure or not or obtuse as They Might Be Giants, but they do have a lot of lyrics.
They're an art band, art rock,
definitely.
Yeah, because They Might Be Giants. Like, still they'll reveal in little, because they do Q&A on their Tumblr, and they'll say what a song's about. Still, like from the 80s, like recently, they'll be like, "Oh, I was thinking," and I'm like, "What?" Like but part of me is like, man, now I know that.
Yeah.
Like it changes the song.
It's crazy.
For me
yeah. Someone says it's like if Tarantino had told you what was in the briefcase. Now here's where we become old film nerds. Yeah, if you found out what Tarantino had in the briefcase there, it'd just say, hey, I worked in a video store. Because that briefcase is a reference to the film Kiss Me Deadly. And in Kiss Me Deadly, everybody's chasing after this briefcase. No one knows what's in it. And at the end, it creates like a nuclear war.
Yeah.
Spoilers! Yeah. Anyways, so that's him referencing a movie.
It's a joke on a MacGuffin. And a MacGuffin is when it's a plot device to get people doing stuff in your story.
Right.
So it's kind of like Buffy did this a lot too, where it would make fun of the idea of like, the amulet of whatever. Like, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The idea is that we have to go get it, so now we're fighting people. Indiana Jones is based on the idea of what if we really fleshed out the MacGuffin? Yeah. I mean, it's like Indiana Jones with the fleshed out MacGuffin is like, that's all 5 movies.
Did you like the last movie or
the Dial of Destiny? We were talking about the ending. I thought it was a beautiful ending. I liked parts of the movie and parts of it I wasn't as wild about. I didn't super like how it was filmed, but I liked the storyline. I liked the girl. I liked the storyline, and I thought the last half an hour, even though like I said, the very very ending I felt was manipulative, but. Once they get up into the sky, I was like, this is fun. Fucking rules. And, I don't want to spoil it too much because it's still pretty new. But
sure.
So there's a shot. Once you find out what is actually going to happen with the artifact, there's a very far off shot. It's most likely all CGI. But and the planes are very small in the shot. It's like a big epic shot. And first of all, when you show clouds in their scale, it's scary. Yeah. Clouds are, like, they're so big. The sky is terrifying. You know what I mean? It is. And so they're showing this, and then when you find out what's happening, where they're going, whatever, the thing that happens at the end of Indiana Jones has happened in many, many science fiction and fantasy movies. However, I feel like for all of its faults, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny makes that act of doing that thing seem more terrifying than anybody else has made it. And it is a scary thing to think about, especially if you didn't know where exactly we're going to end up. And it's like, so it's, to me, I'm like, I really enjoyed that part of it. And I bet that was the grain of the whole movie. I bet that's where the writing process started. Yeah. How do we get them here? Because that was such a good idea. Because it really was just like, oh my God, like I would be having a fucking meltdown. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not like, oh cool, I'll go, it's like, woo, anyways.
The movie's a mixed bag. Yeah. It's was frustrating to me because you could see the potential in it where it's like, oh, it's so close to being like a really solid
an Indiana Jones movie. Yeah. It's definitely better than Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull was just kind of like nobody trying too hard. Dial of Destiny, I think, tries.
Both have their own issues.
Yeah, and Crystal Skull has some good stuff, but you know what's sad about Crystal Skull?
I hate how that movie looks. That movie looks
awful.
Well,
I was going to say, Steven Spielberg directed Crystal Skull, and you can't tell.
I know. It's weird.
The guy, one of the best, and I'm not, I watched lots of action movies, and when I say action director, I'm not talking about like a John Woo or Lo Lee or the people who can shoot martial arts films and gun battles and stuff, but when I say action with Steven Spielberg, I'm talking about shooting things moving on screen. Nobody shoots action better than Steven Spielberg. When you come to that, and when you watch Crystal Skull, there's like this should be awesome motorcycle chase through Yale, and the pacing and editing is so fucking weird. And it's like, bro, you've done this. Like, you know how to do this.
You know what someone told me about Crystal Skull? Last
Crusade had an amazing motorcycle chase. What are you doing? Anyways, what was that? Sorry.
No, the reason Crystal Skull looks like shit is it's a scam. It's a fucking financial scam because George Lucas, this is what someone in the industry told me. George Lucas hired his own effects post company to retouch basically every single shot of that movie. So he cut himself a big fat paycheck even before the movie was done. So the reason like every shot, even stuff that shouldn't have CGI or a bunch of post garbage, has a bunch of bullshit in it is because it's like this fucking scheme. And it's so awful. Like, because apparently Spielberg didn't want to do any CGI because he wanted to keep it real,
Yeah.
And Lucas talked him out of it.
And CGI is a tool, just like anything else. And it can be used well and it can be used poorly. But I definitely understand wanting to avoid it.
No place in an Indiana Jones.
You don't need it. And and here's what I'm wondering: Do you think Steven Spielberg still talks to George Lucas? Do you think they're still friends, or do you think Steve was finally like, you know what, this guy? I don't know about this guy.
I really don't know. It's a good question.
Because
maybe they have a Twitch show together. We don't know
well, it's but I haven't led you astray 100 times.
Yeah. Well, no, how did that not break up him forcing CGI in the movie?
Well, maybe it did. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it did.
Yeah, that ending of Crystal Skull. The thing that sucks, because I've seen people on like Twitter be like, people hate, like, defenders of Crystal Skull be like, oh, people hate it because they hate aliens. I'm like, I'm the biggest fucking alien fan.
Yeah,
like,
I love aliens.
That shit.
And
I think it's a great idea to do that in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But they did it so badly.
There's 2 shots in that movie that, just like with the thing I talked about, Dial of Destiny, there's 2 shots in Indiana Jones that I think were the seed that they wrote the script from.
Yeah.
And one is him watching the nuclear explosion. We don't need to talk about how he got there. But
I like that.
I think that's great, too. I think it's very Indiana Jones, the fridge thing. It's fine. Anyways, him with watching a nuclear mushroom cloud, and at the end, him watching UFO take off. I think, because that's a very iconic. Here's an icon watching a different iconic thing happen that you maybe never thought this icon would watch happen. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But then it went through that bullshit filter, and Shia LaBeouf combing his hair and hanging out with monkeys. And, like the weird... So there's that weird machine, like tanky thing the Russians have at the end. And another poorly shot chase scene, but also every other machinery tank chase thing in the other older Indiana Jones movies, they're all real machines.
Yeah.
And the Russian thing looked like a fucking G.I. Joe toy.
It's crazy. 'Cause I watched the original 3 like last month or so with Kristen. She had never really watched them.
Yeah.
And we watched them, and then we saw the 5th. I didn't show her Crystal Skull. And then we saw the 5th one, and it was just like, I really think it should be just a rule. Well, I mean, it's too late now, but it really should have been a rule, just no CGI. Like, how hard would that rule be? You write the script to the challenges of the
having an
80-year-old. Don't make a thing where you
don't
need
CGI over his face. Yeah. I agree.
Well, that too is weird. I don't. Yeah.
I mean, I really would have loved an elder Indiana Jones, more like a Sherlock Holmes kind of guy, where he's not running around so much, but he's still very, 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 very smart and can figure shit out. Like, what if you made an Indiana Jones movie where he's basically his dad from Last Crusade?
Yeah.
And I think that could work. Junior! It is you, Junior! I used to do it better, Connor. You probably saw me do it on stage before.
But yeah, just the way the action is shot in the first 3, it's like the
Incredible.
Temple of Doom, the minecart chase. I just kept saying, how the fuck do you do this?
Yeah, man. I mean, well,
that's a filmmaker.
That's why when we were watching 2001, we were saying that. I'm like, this movie is as old as, almost as old as my parents. Well, no, but it's a lot older than me. And it's only 13 years older than me. Anyways, 2001: A Space Odyssey has shots in it that I was like, I don't know how they did that. And then when you find out, it's so simple. It's like people can't even think that way anymore.
Yeah.
The floating pen is something I could go make right now.
Yeah, I know.
But I would never think to.
Yeah, there was.
I'm like, I gotta have an OBS filter for that. No, you need a clear piece of plastic, a piece of tape, and a pen.
I've seen the baby in person, dude. There's a.
Oh yeah.
There's a 2001 exhibit at the museum here, and it had the fucking baby, and I was like,
how big is it?
It's like the size of a baby.
Oh really? It's like baby size.
Pictures.
Interesting. Okay, interesting.
But they had all the props and all the stuff about it, and it was so fascinating.
It's also simple, and all that amazing anti-grav stuff in the ships where they're like Dave's walking here, and then the other guy's like walking this way. Amazing, and it's all just like, oh, we turned the camera or we didn't turn the camera. That's what it all is. It's so crazy.
That's what I was thinking. I was talking about this with someone else, but it's just like the way that CGI, it kind of kills the magic of the movies to me, because the best thing is when you watch like an extra feature on a DVD or Blu-ray, and it's like, that's how they did that. Mm-hmm. Whoa. But with CGI shit, it's just like a fucking dude at a computer.
Yeah. But
and like, that's not interesting at all.
No, it's not interesting for that. But
no matter how talented that person is, it's just like,
it does make stuff possible that wasn't before, but now we're just so used to it. Because when you think about it, whether or not you like the story or the movie or whatever, the effects of The Matrix were fucking amazing. Period. Yeah. And that was CGI, and that was like that was people figuring out how to even do it, you know? So that and whenever that kind of thing happens every few years, then it's fresh again. And when I say when that thing happens every few years, I mean whenever James Cameron makes a new film, then they figure out a new way to use CGI. And I don't even dig the avatars, but God, every time. But every time a guy makes a movie, the film industry, film technology changes. You know what I mean? That's incredible. I mean, that's really cool that he is like that. You know?
Yeah.
And he's seems like a good guy. But like a major egomaniac, but he has like some good thoughts.
I think I've heard one person say he's a nightmare on set. But
yeah, I can see that.
But someone on Twitter I forget when this was. It was a while back. We were arguing about CGI and Indiana Jones stuff. Someone were like, "Oh, well, the originals have like matte paintings. That's like not real.
It's still painted."
My thing is like,
is real.
It's still a filmed image. Like they put something in front of the camera, so there's magic to it. It's so different than filming. See, here's the thing. I think we're like wired to react to like things actually in front of a camera, and that's like what's like wows us. But like, so even if it's just a matte painting, which are beautiful, but like they're still like filming with actual film, a real physical object, as opposed to filming a nothing. And then you watch the movie, and what you're looking at is nothing. But then they put a bunch of computer crap, you know. So like, I feel like our brain knows that we're not looking at anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like, I get it.
There could be a big monster, but our brain knows, well, that wasn't there was nothing there.
I think what's important, I follow a dude who's constantly defending CGI to people because he's worked on everything you can think of. He actually works. He's an effects guy.
I can understand why someone would if they.
Well, and when people are like, the main thing he's not against people arguing against CGI. What he is always poking holes in is when people are like, well, this movie didn't have CGI, and he's like, every fucking movie has CGI, and maybe that's part of the problem you're talking about. But also,
Oppenheimer doesn't.
Not at all. Zero.
No, Nolan is really strict. No,
really?
It isn't.
Because even Fury Road
and it's shot on film too. Yeah. And it was finished on film.
You want to talk about something that's probably a nightmare on set? I bet Christopher Nolan sucks to work for.
I don't know. I don't. It's hard to tell.
And those detail-oriented guys, Kubrick, go back to him. You know, I recently watched a video though about how Shelley Duvall. People are like, "Oh, he victimized that poor woman," and she's like, "Well, Shelley Duvall is kind of like it was really hard, but I'm so glad I did it." You know?
Did you see that Twitter thread about that?
Yes, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
And it was really fascinating.
Yeah, it was kind of refreshing because I always thought people were being a little too. They were kind of like inserting themselves into
and they're almost they're almost taking away her own agency about it because they're like well, she was abused on it. It's like, well, what does she think?
She's an actress.
Yeah, and what does she think? Well, she thinks it was hard, but she's really glad she did it. And so, okay, cool, let's move on. I'm glad she did it too. That movie rules.
And that thread was like she gave as good as he did. Like she would fucking like, you know, be snarky at him, and like it was like a complicated relationship, you know. And I've seen that footage everyone talks about where he yells at her because she didn't come to the door fast enough. Mm-hmm. But it's like when you watch that, if you've been on a film set, that's so normal.
Like, and you don't even know the context.
Get cranky.
What if it's 3 a.m, everyone's 6 hours overdue because we can't get the shot right. Everybody's hungry. Everyone misses their homes. Blah, 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 blah. You don't know. I'm not saying it was justified, but maybe the situation was way different than we know.
People are cranky as hell on a film, and everyone takes turns.
Because you wake up at 4.
Yeah.
And you sometimes work till the next 4 and later, and it's like and when you're an actor, there's a lot of waiting, and people are like, "It's not really a job, dude." When you're waiting to do something you're supposed to do,
it's weirdly exhausting.
It's exhausting, and it's a job.
Well, that's my job. So background acting.
Yeah, background acting. You just
show up at 4, 3 a.m., 2 a.m. I did once. And you wait until the sun comes up, 7 a.m., then you're finally on set, and then you're still not shooting for another hour or two because they're arranging everything. And it's like, I come home and I'll tell Kristen, my wife, I'll be like, I don't know why I'm so tired because I mostly just sat and read comic books all day. but I'm exhausted. I'm fucking exhausted. I can't explain it because I feel bad. I feel guilty for being that tired because I know people have harder jobs.
Oh, sure.
But there's something so tiring about waiting all day for something to happen. Like it's and I read a lot. I've read a lot of books on those.
Yeah, sure, man.
And I do work too. I do my other job, which is
but it's a thing, you know. Yeah, and I know we totally lost the thread on nostalgic stuff, but no, but who cares? I think people are still enjoying watching this right now. They are saying much.
My first background jobs were with Whitest Kids.
That's true.
But I wasn't paid. But
no, we paid you a lot. Remember? I actually wrote a thread on Twitter, and I put on other things too a couple weeks ago about the strike and about how people in places like where I live in South Dakota aren't familiar with the industry, and why would you be? Because it's not here. But that can unfortunately.
Oh, I saw that thread.
Yeah, it can generate misconceptions. And one misconception I personally have run into is like, oh, you're on TV, so you must be rich.
Yeah.
No. And I mean, that's like 7% of people who work in the industry. And I said like the strike is not to help Tom Cruise make more money. It's to help make the people sitting out of focus in the background at the restaurant right before Tom Cruise pulls up the aquarium and jumps out the window. Yes, but you know what I mean. And I know that right now you're talking about how now it's hard that you're not working because of it. Yeah. But also, well, maybe you'll get maybe things possibly end well, and you'll get some better pay.
I hope. I'm worried about the AI background people.
Yeah, that's
because
I think AI is the worst conversation. But we do need to rest. WREST. Rest our fucking money, and I'm not in those unions, but I'm just talking about in general. Rest our money away from these fucking billionaires and make things more even, because they can't. The whole idea of trickle down was that like, don't worry, all these billionaires are really good people, and they'll make sure everybody's taken care of. Okay, we should trust you, guy from Monkey Movie who's now president. So that was Ronald Reagan. So,
oh, okay,
you know what I mean, but yeah. Trump was probably in a Monkey Movie too, but anyways.
I know. I was like racking my brain.
I was like, he was at Home Alone. Anyways, but so it's a bullshit lie. So now you have to drag these fuckers into the light, screaming by their ankles. And so once we can do that, good. And hopefully all these strikes. I mean, there's more shit striking in California now too. Well, we gotta make things make sense again.
I don't know if you call it scanned, but I got one of the background jobs I did was that we were put in front of a green screen, and we were they filmed us as sprites to be put in an episode. But the thing is, the camera was like 100 feet away. So I think it wasn't like a scan where they really got me. It was like little sprites for the background. So it was the show The Gilded Age on HBO. So. Okay. That was a weird day. It was a nice short day, but it was weird because they were just like, they had a giant green screen where it was like the floor and the wall, and they just filmed us kind of around like a flower stand, and they're like, oh, just be people, and like we just did that for like 5 minutes, and like, okay, you're good, and I'm like, wow, they're just gonna pop that into the background somewhere, and that's weird. Yeah, that is weird.
And but the reason, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just worried that both jobs I have can be easily replaced by AI, because my other job is proofreading. Yeah. So it's like computer can easily do that. But the background people as CGI scares me, because you know.
And that's every industry. I mean, radio DJs. Lots of things can.
Oh my god. Spotify has that shitty DJ. Have you used that?
No.
Now it's an AI guy, and you click it, and it'll be like, "Hey Timmy." It's a black guy. It's a voice.
It is.
It's like, it is. And it's like, hey, Timmy, I'm your personal DJ on Spotify. Like, I'm looking through your favorites, and I'm going to make you a play. And it like talks. And then he goes like, so me and Kristen listened to this on a drive, and it was the funniest thing that ever happened. We were like, it kept, for some reason, for Kristen's DJ kept playing David Bowie. So it was like, first, let's listen to some David Bowie. And she's like, okay. I mean, she doesn't. Yeah, she likes David Bowie.
Why not? Yeah.
And then like another song played, and then it was like, now let's listen to some David Bowie. And then it like kept happening over and over. Where it's like, okay, Kristen, coming up, David Bowie.
That's funny.
It's just a David Bowie playlist. It
doesn't even work. It's like not even really artificial intelligence. It's just a fucking program that doesn't work.
And so I did mine. Was like, hey Jordan, I'm your personal DJ. I'm looking at your playlist and favorites. Let's start off with some Matchbox 20. And I was like, what?
How the hell
what the fuck? My playlist of They Might Be Giants and
every
Pixies.
nerdy synth math rock guy, they're like, oh, this guy likes Rob Thomas.
What the fuck are they talking? I was in shock.
Because Jordan likes
maybe AI isn't
all the
there
nerdy
yet.
alt art punk guys. Jordan likes Talking Heads, They Might Be Giants,
Talking Heads.
Pixies. What's that other 80s band? I always forget the name.
The Smiths, Morrissey, and like...
What's the one that starts with an E?
XTC.
Yes, or XTC, but there's another one you like. Anyways, stuff like that. So it's really funny.
Matchbox 20.
How do you get that? Someone says.
We were laughing so much though. It was like
someone in chat says, "Bro, the Spotify DJ's first recommendation was based on John Hinckley. Like, yeah, I'm a fan of his work, but not his music."
Someone said, "Can AI be black?" That's a good question.
I mean, yeah, but what he's saying is like it like had a recorded voice that sounded like that. Yeah, that's fucked up. But so
that is a deep question though.
Yeah, and it's a hard
AI
it's a hard
races,
thing. No,
races
I mean, I suppose not, unless then they because that's really just a skin tone thing. So if it doesn't have any skin, I don't know.
Sure.
But you know, someone asked us why this Kids was union. Well, the reason I brought up the whole thing was like so the thing people are striking about is that their show's making money hand over fist, and they're not seeing their cut of it anymore. Like writers and actors, they're not getting residuals and stuff because with streaming, there's not that. There's not Blu-ray sales. There's not things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Whitest Kids never had like there's no and no, most of our show was not shot union, but there's no level of that show where money was being made. You know what I mean? Like everything was just shoestring budget basically. Yeah. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. Because if it was a bigger budget, we wouldn't be able to do Blue Whale Dick. We wouldn't be able to do 99% of our shit. We wouldn't be able to do stabbing babies at the Stork Factory or whatever the fuck that crazy sketch was. You know, like, so I'm glad that it was like that. But then on the flip side, it's funny to come back here and be like, oh, hey, buy me a drink, you're on TV. It's like, no, I was on deep cable. You buy me a fucking drink. And a sandwich, please. Yeah. Also, do you have a house I can stay at? Will there ever be a Blu-ray of WKUK? Me being a Blu-ray collector, I would love to say yes, but I'm going to say no. Too. And but maybe we are at some point we're going to try and get everything out there to stream at least. We'll see what happens.
Zach's star keeps rising and rising,
someone's going to want to put it out.
Right.
It'll be like all those bullshit movies that you and I love where a famous actor did it as one of their first jobs and said like 2 lines, and then that person gets famous later. They put his face big on it.
Yeah. If Zach's becomes,
but luckily Zach's actually in Whitest Kids,
famous director. It'd be like as if Tarantino was in a comedy troupe in the '80s, and they put it out. Like I'd watch that. You know what I mean? Like
Almost Live with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
remember that one? Bill Nye.
I do.
Almost Live was where Bill Nye came from.
Exit 57.
Oh man, I kind of remember that one.
That's a good one. It's like Stephen Colbert and like it's all these people.
The Dana Carvey show was good too, but I think people know that one.
Too. Exit 57 is the Strangers with Candy people.
Oh, great!
Their show before Strangers with Candy.
Oh, I did not know that.
I am a super sketch comedy nerd. Actually.
Yeah, you are. That's fun though. That's cool. Well, and but anyways, so. It's a whole deal, isn't it? And so, but my point was always like, no, we're not rich. You know, we didn't. The way I always explain it was like, no, we're not rich. The channel we were on had like 3 digits in some places.
I mean,
like you're only making money on TV if you're on 1, maybe early 2-digit channels. You know, like the teens. Yeah, that's how it used to work. You know,
I remember someone asked. We were at Darren's apartment. It was like a little party. And I remember someone's like, Darren, what'd you do with your paycheck for the first season of Whitest Kids? And he's like, I paid off my student loans.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. I mean,
yeah, he was so much smarter than the rest of us.
That's a great idea. But I remember being like, I was like, oh man, because I paid those for the next like 15 years.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah. I mean, I'm reading the comments now. Oh yeah, the state took so long to release on DVD.
Well, that's a whole
lot
other
of that's because of the music.
Yeah.
That was because of the music they used.
Which now that Paramount Plus has been able to put the music back in Beavis and Butthead, I'm hoping they can do the state too.
Did you know what they did on the DVD for the state?
Yes, I had it. It's terrible. I mean, they
overdubbed the sketch.
Yeah.
The Barry and Levant. What the fuck is it called? The
Slash sketch.
Yeah.
Where you can put Slash in your home to fight roaches or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just generic guitar music, and it's not Sweet Child of Mine, and it's so weird.
The $200 pudding sketch.
Yeah.
Because the audio track was just one track with the Marvin Gaye song.
Oh, they had to overdub the whole thing.
They overdubbed their voices on it, and it's bizarre. It just doesn't work at all. And I think they were like, didn't even give a shit because there's like weird like aspects to the way they did it. But yeah, it's like a weird compromise, but it sucks. I wish they just got the
I hope they can figure it out because I mean I was pretty happy when they were able to put the Beavis and Butthead Watch music videos back in.
Yeah.
There were some great jokes from that shit.
I got online all the episodes because I was like, you can't find them, whatever.
You're saying this.
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah, with the music videos. They're like VHS like copies. But it's pretty. We're watching it in order.
I still have Star Wars VHS because for some reason my VCR pipes my Star Wars VHS onto my TV screen in widescreen.
I've never seen the.
And you can't see the original non-special edition Star Wars widescreen.
I've never seen that version of the movie.
It's awesome.
You know why I hate George Lucas? Because my first exposure to Star Wars was these like horrible versions with these like CGI dance numbers. It's just so dumb. And
you know, the movies are still there under that stuff. Yeah. But like, you know, what's funny though is because Empire Strikes Back is
so out of it.
Empire Strikes Back is arguably by most people the best made Star Wars film. And so what's funny is it has the least amount of special edition fuckery in it.
Really?
Because it was already fucking perfect. You know what I mean?
The first one
and the other movies are kind of perfect too, but you know, well, the other movies, it's like, dude, who thought you should replace the Ewok song with that? And so that part's insane to me. Yeah. I understand cutting to the other civilizations that you're going to feature in the prequels, showing them celebrating the end of the Empire. But in the original Return of the Jedi, it's just them dancing around. They have this weird Each-Up Nub Nub song. And you see Billy D. Williams awkwardly clapping and no one else cares. And it's great. But then in the special edition, they completely changed the music to this like bullshit kind of, I don't know, like Peruvian flute music. I don't know.
I don't even know I don't even know what was changed.
Oh,
I've
dude.
never seen it.
You should look up the old... Okay, the old song is Ewoks singing it, and they're pounding away on Stormtrooper helmet drums. Each-up nub, each-up nub, ba-da-nub, ba-da-ba-ba-da-na, ba-ba-da-ba-da, ba-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-da, ba-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-da, ba-ba-da-ba-da, and then it goes into the score. It's amazing. And it ends with this big shot of the whole cast, and Billy D. Williams is going like this, and nobody else is clapping. It's like he's the only one that digs the Each-Up Nub Nub song. And now it doesn't even look like he likes that song. It looks like he likes this bullshit music.
Yeah.
But what's good about that is that they show, or what I like about the special edition version, they show these other planets celebrating the fall of the Empire. Okay, cool, because you're going to show us these planets when they were under the thumb of the Empire in your prequels. Okay, I understand why you did that, but why'd you change the song? But anyways, so I still have the VHS for that reason. So, and I know people are talking about the despecialized stuff. I don't get down on pirating stuff. So even that stuff, I just wait because there's too many other people. It's just like with the union conversation. It's like when you pirate, you're not stealing money from Tom Cruise. You're stealing money from a fucking gaffer who now has to buy ramen. You know, so
yeah,
that's my opinion about that.
Yeah, I respect that.
You know, anyways, wow, we talked forever, man.
Oh my god,
I think I'm gonna go.
Are you all right?
I'm fine.
Oh, you said it so sadly.
I was just being silly. But do you feel like we at least talked about some nostalgia? Cough donations. Lobaka, didn't I read yours? Oh, I skipped yours because I wanted to wait to read it till Jordan got back. Okay, here is Lobaka make a donation. He wants us to, I want to make sure you're back for it. Thank you, Lobaka, for reminding me. Lobaka donated $10, thank you, and says, I'd like to put this on the radar for both of you. The Finks from 1970. A movie that opened so bad in one city that it was shelved till 2012. The cameo list is insane, including Colonel Sanders and Oddjob.
And Oddjob?
Oddjob is from the James Bond movie, the little short Asian dude.
Oh, okay.
Real muscly
I've never seen
guy.
James Bond anything.
Wow. I've only seen a couple.
Blind spot.
I've only seen a couple.
And Ninja Turtles. I don't know any of that.
I've never seen The Graduate, which is pretty much like not seeing Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Wow. You should. That's good.
Then Lobaka said, "I'm enjoying Hard Rock Zombies getting this much love. It's a good movie." Cassie. It's funny because there's not hard rock in that movie.
Someone said Jordan didn't get to tell a single story. I told a story about the first two Whitest Kids meetings, and
you told some other stories too, didn't you?
Some other, maybe.
I did not talk the whole time. There's a certain cadre of people that like to make it think like I shout over everybody and don't let anybody else talk. Do you feel like I did not let you talk?
I usually feel that about me.
Yeah.
I mean, my podcast
and I know that I do that, but I'm very cognizant about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, me too.
Yeah.
My podcast is just me interrupting Dave all the time.
Markham says under 3 hours. The fuck. Well, I'll tell you the fuck. Normally,
I can
Saturday is 2
toss out
hours.
another. If we think of if there's a prompt, I can try to think of another Whitest Kids little thing.
Well, we're just and we'll get back to it too. We have a lot of stuff to discuss.
No, that's not true, Nate.
What?
Sorry, all the mean comments.
That's
what
That's what everybody said. Well, that's Nate though. Nate has no real feelings. He's like a robot.
Is that Nate, or is that a?
Yeah, and so he's just trying to be a dick, and it works. He's really good at it. I hope he's smiling at that because I
wrote a whole thing. After I was background in the Lincoln sketch, I went home and wrote up what the whole day was like.
Oh wow, that'd be interesting.
But it doesn't involve you guys. It involves Melissa and Greg Johnson and the other people, because we were forced to kill like 5 hours in this random town in the middle of nowhere by ourselves while you guys filmed the other theater sketch. And it was hysterical because we all had to wake up at 6 a.m., drive to this little town called Irvington.
Yep.
And then we're ready to go because we're there. And they're like, oh, so come back at like 3 p.m.? And we're like, what? Come back? So they're just like, yeah, just hang out. So we just like had to kill like 5 hours of time.
And you have a journal or something of what happened?
I wrote up all this. Yeah, I wrote it all up because
that's fascinating.
We were all being hilarious because we were so in shock that this was what the day was, and Greg was hysterical.
I would love for you to read that. On one of these episodes sometimes, because I remember now that you mention it. I remember we talked about it.
It was
but
insane.
I would love to. Because I remember, you know what it was? Like, I shot this thing, and it was so fucking hot in that theater, and we shot those sketches.
Oh, it was so hot.
And then you and Greg Johnson and Melissa come back. You're like, yeah, we had a fucking awesome, weird time. And I was like, God damn it. It's like, how come I had to be in this stupid, sweaty sketch starring on a TV show when I could have been farting around Irvington, New York with my friends?
Yeah, well, we just kept saying, like, we could have woken up late and just driven here ourselves in a second car. We could have organized this in a way where we didn't have to be here at 7 a.m.,
We had people that were very into. We had producers and stuff that were very into having take your whole jar of recipes and keep it there on the countertop.
Now that I do background, that's all it is. I totally get that. But that was a very funny. Yeah, we were earlier. We were so early in this town that nothing was open yet.
Yeah, because we probably got there at 6 a.m, if not earlier.
The funniest thing I remember, I'll just say this, is like, we were walking around the town looking for something to kill 5 hours of time with. And I'm like, Greg is down the block. And I pass a video store. And I yelled at Greg, like, Greg, there's a video store. And he just sarcastically goes back, a video store? Wow. Like, he was just like, exciting, Jordan.
That's one reason I love Greg Johnson. Everybody's impression is good enough to make you picture, like, you know exactly what it sounded like, because he's just so, he's a singular existence, and you know what he sounds like.
And then we just walked around the video store making fun of movie.
That's fun.
Poster. It was so fun. Honestly, it was really fun.
Zeno Quantum's in chat says, how is Timmy talking to Timmy? I have a 4-word response to that. Get your eyes checked.
Am I Timmy?
That's what they're trying to say, that we both are Timmy. It's like, first of all, don't insult my good friend like that.
Hey.
Secondly, he doesn't look anything like me.
I don't look like Timmy.
He sounds funny. You sound funny.
We both white.
Yeah. I mean, we both sound like the Eddie Murphy white guy impersonation without trying. That's just how it happens.
Yeah, I guess our voices are at that register, that similar register. See, the reason my podcast works is because Dave has like a very low, like a bassy voice.
Yeah, Dave has a beautiful voice.
Yeah, so it has a good like contrast. But me and you, we might be overloading the meter, the nasal meter or whatever.
But a lot of people that say they like this, well, they probably just are other dorks with high pitched voices like us. Like, oh, I really like that these guys get along so well and talk about things.
That was one of my problems with the new MST3K, is all the voices were similar, and I didn't know who was making the jokes.
Like Hampton and Barron do not look alike at all. They had very similar voices.
Yeah, I was,
and I love that show, and I love those guys. It's nothing about the quality of the product, but yeah,
it's sort of like a crucial technical flaw where I was just like, who is saying the thing? Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
So So I squeezed in a little bit of a story there.
Now I'm getting all self-conscious because you and I work the same way. I didn't talk over you too much. I felt like you had some very good bits.
It's your show. It's your
but
thing.
I don't give a shit about that. I don't want to talk over you. So,
Mm-hmm.
I feel. Do you feel like you got to talk about stuff?
Oh yeah. I mean, I could like keep.
I know you could go forever. So could I. But
my mind, as you're talking, I'm like,
I know
thinking,
that I shouldn't.
Oh, let me say this thing, and then I'm like, oh, let me say this other thing, and then like I have so many things to say that it's better to just like go with the flow.
But we're gonna do more, and I think what I want to do next week is have a guest that if you want to come by too, yes, and
sure.
we could just host it together because you could always back up stuff, and if the person on doesn't have any good stories, then you can like, oh hey, I have this picture or this video or I have this story or whatever, because you're a good fan.
We've got to show more videos.
Yeah, that sketch, it was really great to watch that sketch though.
And I've got non-white. I mean, I've got them at this party hanging
Principal
out.
Rolls?
I've got Sam wrestling someone.
Principal Roll says the first comment about Jordan not getting to talk was also from Nate. Okay. It's like it's you know what that is? That's the dropping the coffee mug and seeing that it says Kobayashi on the bottom from Usual Suspects. Like, oh, now it all makes sense. The whole situation was constructed by Nate to make me self-conscious about myself, and the worst part is that it worked. So next time we do Trailer Boys, I'm going to tear him a new one, which doesn't make it any different from other episodes of Trailer Boys.
I want to do Trailer Boys again.
Yeah,
that'd be fun with you too.
Let's do it, because like, you know what? We should just make both Brown Boys stay home. Except that show has so many technical elements. I'm not dipping my toe in that water. Good God.
Yeah, it was complicated.
It's a lot.
It was fun.
It looks great, but like the way Nate has it all set up looks fantastic. But it is so complicated. It really is.
Yeah.
Somnifer says Travis would be glad that someone is bullying Timmy. Well, I got a point on that too. I knew him better than you, and yes, he did like bullying me, but not in the way you're thinking. Not just like, well, because it's sometimes when like people would see us, like even you and I, since we've known each other forever, we make fun of each other. Why does kids make fun of each other? Like, oh, I can also call Timmy fat. No, you can't. They can because they're good at it, and I know them. You're not good at it.
Well, I've never.
So when someone else is bullying me, it's not like when Trevor would bully me. When Trevor would bully me, it was a brilliant fucking bit, just like every other thing he did. Like his whole thing on Twitter for years, where he just pretended I was like this weird right winger, and he'd say stuff like Timmy's in support of the Muslim ban and stuff like that. And it was just always very funny.
One reason I've thought about this too, especially from watching the streams, is like why I would never fit in as part of the troupe is I don't have that bullying.
Well, neither do I.
I was just always really nice to you guys because I feel like I was I wasn't inside enough, so I was always just but I didn't really cross that level.
I feel like I've heard you zing once or twice, and you are good at it. I feel like I've heard Jordan zings. I can't remember why.
Like my super close friends, I could totally zing them. But then I still have to be. Sometimes on the podcast, I've tried to zing Dave, and he gets like really upset, and then I cut it out, and I'm like, sorry,
Well, us sensitive guys, sometimes you get the wrong, you find the wrong hole in the armor, and it's a problem. But it's the Nate.
I never mean anything bad. It's always just like trying to make someone laugh.
Yeah, same here. Nate says, "Don't be complimentary after I'm being an asshole," and then he spelled asshole way wrong, which I think he did on purpose because he knows I hate that.
You like your assholes nice and clean.
Yeah, I want my assholes perfect.
Yeah.
I want both S's and the E. I want the whole word.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is fun though. You will not abide
a bad asshole.
Yeah, bad asshole would be a great name for a comedy troupe.
Bad assholes. They had my friends after Cousin Eskimo. They did one show under the title Daddy Goes Bowling, and I thought that was a great name.
That is a great name.
I loved that name.
Well, do you remember my friends Casey and Hans? They had that sketch group that started in Minneapolis. They came out and did a few. They would do sketches with us every once in a while.
I've got pictures of.
Oh, you do? That'd be fun.
The Jerk Casey picture.
The Jerk Practice was their sketch group name, and that's a great name, I think.
I've got like a sexy picture of Casey.
Well, that's the thing. Is so Casey I've known since
like
I was 10.
He looks like a model in this picture.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal with Casey. I've known him since we were 10, and when we were kids, he was fat. He was very pudgy. He had a blonde curly mullet and those 90s glasses with the bridge across the top.
Wow.
And then like 8th grade rolled around and suddenly, Casey's a fucking babe now.
I'm just
fucking
gonna
cheekbones.
share it.
Dude, do it. And I have to fix the picture thing for everybody, but this is one of my very, very, I mean, most of the whitest kids are my best friends, but before I met them, this is my other best friend. Look at this fucking guy. So he used to be like the pudgy, gross kid. And now he still looks like that. He just has a massive beard.
What's that photographer that did all those like sweaty pictures of girls?
Terry Richardson.
Yeah, and this is like my Terry Richards.
Yeah,
this is
Terry Richardson.
Like, this is my Terry Richardson photo.
But he's a good-looking guy. Look at that. Yeah. And it's funny because, well, if anybody that where I've talked about the comic book, The Super Rich, that's the guy I co-wrote it with. And he's the one who took it upon himself to self-publish it and everything. So, yeah, but yeah, he definitely did a glow up because, like, here's the thing. It's like when Nintendo Wii came out and you could make characters of people, it was very easy to make me because I was a little fat guy with big eyes. And so Trevor made a good one of me. And I made one of Casey from 1995 that I called Casey 95 because it was easy because he was like a little fat guy with big eyes. And then he grew up into that and we were all like, jeez.
Yeah.
What? It's like that really does happen. Our friend, our other good friend out here, Drew, he had a little sister who, when we were kids, she had red hair and glasses, and we called her Margaret because of Dennis the Menace. She looked like Margaret from Dennis the Menace, right? Then we were older than her. She's younger. So we got older and moved away, graduated. Came back when she had graduated. We were like, oh. It's one of those things.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you see celebrity yearbook photos.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh my God, what?
Yeah, because some of them are like, wow, you really, Well, but the celebrity things, it's funny, though. It's like, wow, $1 million and not having to work anymore really made you hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, dude, if you had a factory, like I've done some factory work, it fucking ruins you.
Yeah.
Like your hands, and then there's the jobs where you get shit on your face. Like, I had a factory job for a short time where I'm sanding primer off of tractor cabs, and I come home covered in that stuff, and I'm like, man, if I did this job for much more, I'd probably have lung issues, fucking skin issues, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know?
I worked at the Midtown Comics warehouse for 2 days, and then I quit because it was too hard for me.
Was it actual warehouse work, I suppose?
Yeah, it was a massive warehouse in Long Island.
Did you have to use a forklift?
No, there were these like ladders and things to get comics up, but basically it was taking online orders all day, being like, I want Captain Atom number 34, and then you have to like find it in this massive warehouse, and it was 8 hours of that, and it was like the first hour is like, oh cool, I'm like checking out all these comics, and then like after a day I was so bored and exhausted, and you can even listen to music, but it was like I drove home and had a panic attack in the car. Because I was like, is this my life now? I started freaking the fuck out. And I was like going to throw up in the car. And then I called the next day being like, I can't. Oh, I made up a fake excuse. I said I got a different job, but I didn't. So I was unemployed. But it was like, I chose that rather than like, like I just basically wasn't making money for a while after that.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I also worked at my uncle owns a carpet store, and I worked in that warehouse, and I drove a forklift and stuff. And the carpet rolls get to weigh 800 pounds, and I had a pole lifter, and some of them, because he would order like carpet when it's cheap, so he'd order a bunch of it. He's like, oh, this nice carpet's on sale. I'm gonna order 900 pounds of it, and I have this pole lifter, which is it's a forklift you stand on, and it just has this big long pole. But it was only made to lift about 500 pounds, so I'd pick those up, and then it'd start tipping over the entire machine. Terrifying.
Shit.
And my brother and I shot an album cover for a stand-up album I never finished doing. But it was me standing on a pallet on the forklift with a microphone. It was called Timmy Williams' Work. But never came to be. But yeah, someone else said, dude, I do heavy equipment painting, Timmy. Cool. Sorry about the black lung. Anyways, well, I think I should go. It's late.
Yeah. No, it feels right. The time feels right now.
Did you have fun?
I love doing this. One of the reasons, because my own podcast is so much work on my end where I prepare for weeks, and this I could just like, it's like the same hours of content, but I could like just hang out and relax. I still didn't get to. I brought my whole scrapbook here.
Do you have anything you want to show real quick? Pick one and let's show real quick.
Okay.
I will make you bigger and me smaller. And that should make it look different here.
I post this to the Reddit, but it's fantastic. It's an old set list with drawings from Trevor.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. That's me. It says Timmy.
The drawing of Timmy.
And there's me in a bikini, and there's like a
Zach
dick.
is on a giant penis.
Wow.
Yeah, wait, you know what? Let me make it brighter. There we go.
Oh, perfect.
Is it mirrored? It looks mirrored to me.
It might be mirrored on Twitch. It's not mirrored on my OBS.
Try to,
no, it's not mirrored. They got it right.
Eyes.
They got it right.
So yeah, that's Timmy. Trevor drew this. I drew Zach on top of the penis.
Yeah.
Someone else drew the penis. It might have been, I don't know.
It says Greg Johnson's
does that
dick
look like
under
a Trevor
it too.
penis?
I don't know.
Someone wrote that.
I bet Trevor drew that.
But
that guy drew a good cock. He drew a great cock.
Movie pitching. Let's see.
Yeah.
Birds and bees. Sam Brown.
Sam blows dude's sex.
Yeah. What was that?
I think it was someone just fucking with Sam. I don't remember that being a real thing, but it could be. I don't know.
That was just a note to himself that accidentally got on the set list. Grandma. I think I know that one where they break into an old lady's house.
Okay. Yeah.
They're like, oh, I don't even know her or whatever. Yeah. I can't read it in the mirror. Joining the army.
Yep, I remember that one.
This is like Da Vinci Code shit. I'm trying to read this backwards.
My favorite line for joining the army, which I believe we did on the TV show, was it's Trevor and Zach are idiots trying to join the army. Then they start talking about the Air Force, and Zach's like, yeah, let's join the Air Force. It's like the force of the air. I've always loved jokes like that.
What is kooky crazy?
I have no idea. Zero idea. I have no idea. I was looking at that like...
Write your own version of kooky crazy and submit it by the end of the week. There's your
homework, fans. Jesus.
That's the best set list I have because of the drawings that Trevor did.
That's amazing. I just think it's brilliant that you kept that stuff, man. Now, did you keep it because you're a weirdo, or did you think you would need it?
I always kept set lists every time I went to a concert. I would run to the front of the stage and grab set lists. I have They Might Be Giants. I have 50 of those. I have Talking Heads, or not Talking Heads, but David Byrne. I have all those. I have Ben Folds 5 set lists too. These are treasured items to me.
Sure.
So at some point during the White Skit shows, I just started pocketing the set lists, and I don't remember if I had a idea why. I think it was just because of it was this is. I've always been someone who thinks in the big picture about my life, I think this is a special time of my life. You know what I mean? I've always been that kind of personality where I look into the future kind of thing. Almost in Anchorman, when at the end, when he's going this is a nice moment. We're laughing. And the other guys are you're ruining it. And he's we'll remember this when we are friends in the future. That's what I'm like.
But that's great. I mean, it's great that somebody does that. Cause I mean, we were all just sitting around man, well, because for me, for example, it's we do a show. I'm man, that was great. Now I want to do another show, but I'm just going to go drink and smoke.
Yeah.
And we're all kind of like that. And then, we loved performing and we loved hanging out, but I kind of forgot about the hindsight thing, which is why there's still not very many t-shirts, but
well, it's funny because all these set lists and stuff, I didn't know I had these until recently. That's the thing. It's last year I found an envelope with all this shit, and I was oh my God, I couldn't believe it because I didn't remember keeping that stuff. That's why I made this book,
That's fantastic.
But, I always like keeping that.
Well, we got to bring you back to more. I mean, we can do next week sometime. If the exact same time doesn't work, we'll figure it out. But I'm going to see.
I have my non-union extra job next Tuesday.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. But so I think next week I'll either get Jordan or Shandy. Not Jordan. You're Jordan. Phantom or her or Savakis might do it sometime. I think he might do it soon. Who else do I have? Molly WKUK is going to do it. There's other. I'm trying to choose people that I feel we haven't heard from that also would have good stories and also were good at keeping tabs on stuff. Shandy has kept photos, you kept photos, Molly has photos, stuff like that. So
Melissa.
Yes, that'd be a good one too. She'd have some real crazy stories because she kind of really helped us put on the live show for a long time. Her main thing was helping book other comedians. So Melissa, you want to talk about people who knew them when? She was friends with tons of people that many of them have become gigantic stars. You know what I mean? She just kind of would book people or hang out with people that now are some of them have fucking Oscars or Tonys or whatever,
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is very crazy. And we all knew those people, but Melissa was always the contact. So she knew all of them. Do you remember when she brought Sherry Lewis's daughter to pianos, and their lamp shop opened for us once.
Oh my God, I don't remember that.
And
that's crazy.
But it was the daughter, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't Sherry Lewis, so it was not PBS family-friendly lamp shop. She was doing, it was like lamp shop doing jokes about drinking and sex and stuff like that.
I wonder if I just don't remember or if I missed that one. I mean,
maybe you repressed it.
You.
Maybe you've been to a lot of therapy to help you deal with that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I can hear the singing. And they did the song that doesn't end.
Oh my God, yeah.
Maybe that's how we should end this.
Someone asked me if I'm a Setlist FM kind of person. No, I've never been there, so I'm just gonna answer the chat.
It is something about set lists.
Something, yeah. Oh yeah, I have checked Setlist there actually. Yeah, I have been there. I remember that. Yeah, but I'm not like I don't have an account on there or anything. It's kind of a personal thing, just my little scrapbook.
Well, okay, so we're going to raid somebody. Someone asked me to raid somebody, and it was a while ago, so I don't know if they're still doing it. But Jordan, thank you, and we'll do this again, and I'm glad. Yes. And sorry about Nate. I just kidding.
I got nothing against Nate.
I got nothing against Nate either. Nate's a beautiful person, and
I love everybody.
We haven't had... If Nate and I had a show that where we didn't have to watch movies or talk to Sam, I think we'd have a fun time. But... Yeah. I'm just razzing people who I care about.
I could just talk about movies with you or Sam.
Oh, dude, I had so much fun talking about 2001 for like a half an hour.
I cut that shit out of my podcast with Dave because it's not about the Young Giants, but we'll get sidetracked and talk about a movie for 20 minutes. And then when we're editing the episode, we're like, cut it out.
Sometimes it's entertaining.
It sucks, though.
When we started Trailer Boys the other night, we did like an hour talking about how Sam and I should start a podcast just about cum called Loads.
Yeah, a lot of cum stories.
And then Nate put a poll in chat. How would you listen to Loads? And it was 100% yes.
Wow. Dan Harmon has a really funny cum story that he told on Harmontown that I think about all the time. Just that he came in his bed, he forgot about it, came back the next day or so, like went to, and the punchline of the story was like, ants love cum. There was tons of ants. Wow. And he's like, they just can't get enough of it. There was like just a line of ants like stuck to his bed sheet.
There is a connection possibly to that. So I had a lot of ants here, sugar ants that like sweet stuff. Fought them off all summer. They're gone.
Okay.
Recently, I found a ton of tiny, tiny little ants in my butter dish. And they were also around...
I thought you were going to say something else for a second.
Well, here's the thing. So they're around the butter dish. I also had dropped like a little piece of meat behind kind of to the side of the oven that I didn't notice when I was cooking once.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And so they're all over that. And so they're like these little, tiny, tiny ants that love protein. And so I'm like thinking like, what if those are the same ones that like semen? It would make sense because there's protein in it.
Yeah. I wonder, do you think ants are small enough to like see the sperms? I mean, we could end it there. I don't know.
Nate, if you're editing, perfect. That right there. Jordan's saying, do you think ants are small enough to see the sperms? Perfect. Jordan, I love you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, who do we, I got to pick someone to raid. You don't have to hang out.
I don't understand the rating thing.
So what that means is when you're done streaming on Twitch, you can pick another channel to send your viewers to.
Oh, okay. I never knew what that meant.
Yeah, it's
you guys say it in everything,
right? And it's cool, it's fun because people rate us too, and so that can be a lot of fun. Yeah,
what other are there like B and C list celebrities who have Twitch streams?
Well, we've done that, but those are never very fun.
Oh, really?
The fun ones are like other people we know who are fun.
Does like Lars have a?
Yeah, 90% of them leave after 2 minutes. Yes, normally when I get rated, it's when I'm wrapping up. In fact, I bet someone's going to rate us any minute. So, yeah, Nate, are you doing an After Boys? Oh, no, you're not doing that. Raid Stork? Okay, cool. I always forget how he spells his name, though. Oh, there he is. Okay, we're rating Away Stork Away. He's a fan. He's a good Whoretown member. Gooby Wood, which is what Trailer Boys call their chat room. So. All right, guys, we're going to raid Away Stork Away. Be nice to him. Well, you don't have to be nice to him. We know him, so, I'm kidding. Be nice. They're talking about Will Sasso, apparently, over there, so that's a random subject. Jordan?
Yep.
I love you, man. Thank you. We'll have you back. Oh, yeah. Look, he's
finale.
got the...
Look at that.
Yeah, yo, man, that's the beauty
I have
of a
no
New York City
perception.
apartment. You can reach everything else. I can't reach my
I can
light
reach
switches.
everything.
It's like when you got up to go to the bathroom, I said, well, wait for Jordan, but it probably won't be long because he's in New York. The toilet's like 3 feet away.
It's right there.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm sitting on it.
I'd have to like get up and move to... You know what? You as a lifelong New Yorker, if you came to my house, you'd be like, whoa.
I just visited a friend of mine's house in upstate New York, and I was like, whoa.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have a yard that's bigger than probably 7 people's
Your
apartments
butt.
in New York.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're going to raid now. Bye, everybody, and thank you all
I'm going to fade out.
for
Watch
existing.
this.
Fade out. Let's see it. Oh, it's beautiful. Fade to black.
Good night.
Good night, Jordan. Okay, and we're raiding a Waystroke away. Bye, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. Much appreciate.